One second, the girl is about to be hit by a truck. The next second, she transmigrates into a novel as the doomed empress. She packs up overnight and flees to the neighboring country, until a curse word suddenly rings out from a corner of the market. Their eyes meet, and they both exclaim at the same time, "Holy crap! You transmigrated into the novel too?" The almighty emperor from the original story has now become a down-and-out homeless man. A few months ago, Lily transmigrated here and ran all the way to the neighboring country. Using her original skills, she became a maid at a noble's estate. Today, Lily reports to the head maid as usual, saying she needs to run some errands. After finishing her shopping, Lily is about to return to the estate. Suddenly, a man's angry shout comes from behind her, freezing to death. Damn it! The fluent and familiar cursing makes Lily's heart skip a beat. Who would talk like this? Lily turns around and sees a man soaking wet, looking like a homeless person. Lily suspects he might also be a transmigrator and decides to confirm it first. After thinking for a moment, Lily walks up to him and calls out softly, "Sir." The man looks up blankly. "What is it?" Lily leans close to his ear and speaks a few modern phrases. The man's eyes widen instantly, his face full of shock. Lily then throws out some modern slang. The man instinctively fires back with equally modern curses. Though they're curse words, to them they sound like heavenly music. Lily asks excitedly, "You transmigrated here too?" The man is both shocked and delighted. "Yes, are you a transmigrator too?" Lily confirms and reaches out to pat him. The man asks curiously, "How did you know I transmigrated?" Lily explains she just heard him cursing. The man laughs awkwardly and quickly changes the subject, suggesting they introduce themselves. He introduces himself first, saying his name is Park Jun-ho. Lily responds, "I'm Choi Min-ji. Nice to meet you." Such generic names. The most NPC names ever! Lily asks curiously, "What's your name here?" Park Jun-ho freezes, thinking, "Oh my god, I completely forgot." He only remembers he's the first prince, but has no memory of his full name. He doesn't dare reveal he's a wanted prince, and starts sweating profusely. At this moment, he thinks on his feet and shouts, "My name is Brad!" Lily replies, "Looks like you transmigrated as a background character?" Brad breathes a sigh of relief. "Yes." Then he asks back, "What's your name here?" Lily responds, "My name here is Lily." Lily thinks nervously that she's actually the female lead Marion, but she can't tell him that. After getting acquainted, Lily looks him up and down and asks, "Are you playing a homeless person right now?" Brad says awkwardly, "No." Lily asks next, "Do you have a job?" Brad says even more awkwardly, "No." Lily takes the opportunity to suggest, "Then come work at our estate. We're actually short-staffed and hiring right now. Our master is a minor noble and very easy to get along with." Brad answers, "If that's the case, that would be perfect. Then come with me, Brad." Before long, Lily brings Brad to the estate. Brad is completely shocked at the sight. This estate is massive. He's full of questions. This isn't what a minor noble's house should look like. Lily explains that maybe the master's generosity is a bit small. The master has money but is stingy and doesn't want to hire more people. After saying this, she grabs Brad tightly and begs him to pass the interview. Brad looks worried. Then the interview must be really hard, right? He asks about the requirements and if there are any conditions. Lily answers, "The requirement is to demonstrate your personal abilities." Brad panics even more since he has no interview experience. Lily says mysteriously, "If it's you, there definitely won't be a problem." After saying this, she has Brad follow her inside. Brad sits alone in the incredibly spacious hall, constantly thinking about what skills he has. The original owner was amazing at swordsmanship, but he can't do it. As for magic, he can't do that either. Fortunately, he has the advantage of being strong. He'll demonstrate that later. The head maid Mira comes over and confirms if he's Brad. Brad mistakes Mira for the master and quickly stands up saying, "Yes!" He immediately bows 90 degrees to greet her. Mira quickly clarifies, saying she's the head maid, Mira Keisha. Brad awkwardly looks up. Mira reassures him to relax, since he was recommended by Lily. After saying this, she takes out a black lace blindfold and has him put it on. On the way to the interview with the head maid, Brad keeps thinking, "Did Lily just sell me out?" Soon, he's brought to the master's door. Mira steps aside, gesturing for him to wait a moment, while she turns and goes in to report to the master. Eve looks down and politely asks about the number of applicants. But Mira doesn't respond for a while and instead asks her in confusion, "Why have you been acting so different from before lately?" Eve instinctively apologizes in a panic. Mira continues, "Miss, you never used to apologize so easily." Being called out like this makes Eve panic even more inside. She freaks out internally. Why can't she play the role of a villainess properly? That's right, she's also a transmigrator who died from cancer before, opening her eyes as the vicious second female lead in this novel. Though she was lucky enough to get a second chance at life, after learning her final fate was a tragic death, she decisively fled overnight to the neighboring country, just wanting to live out the rest of her life in peace. Seeing her troubled expression, Mira comforts her. "It's all right, Miss Evelyn. Eve freaks out and insists she must call her Eve. Mira apologizes, saying it was a slip of the tongue, and asks in confusion why she's using a fake name. Eve says it's to change her mood, but she thinks to herself that it's just an excuse. She told her father she was traveling the world, but she actually wants to settle down quietly in the neighboring country. With the empire and neighboring country in a ceasefire, this is the perfect hideout. But using her real name might expose her identity as a duke's daughter. She can't tell the truth. Mira's suspicious gaze makes Eve so frustrated she wants to drink. Mira notices Eve is distracted and says, "There's only one applicant this time." Eve snaps back to attention and tells Mira to bring the person in for the interview quickly. Mira begs Eve to hire him this time, since the estate is so short-staffed it's about to collapse. Eve bluntly replies, "If I'm not satisfied, I won't hire him." Mira guarantees Eve will definitely like this person. After saying this, she has Brad come in and leaves herself. Brad hears the door close and thinks to himself, this situation doesn't seem right. Brad just opens his mouth to greet her when he's signaled to be quiet. Eve slowly walks closer to observe him. Brad is so nervous he starts sweating. He feels an incredibly intense gaze and actually starts feeling shy. Eve asks with a smile, "What's your name?" Brad nervously gives his fake name, Brad. Just as he's about to introduce his skills, Eve directly announces he's passed the interview and tells him to come to work tomorrow. Brad is so shocked he's speechless, then quickly agrees. After the black lace blindfold is finally removed, he sees the master in front of him, wearing a mask. He can't see her face clearly, but she exudes nobility. Eve also silently evaluates that although Brad is handsome, he's not her type. She then tells Brad to go rest and that Lily will take him to his room. Brad comes out full of questions. He got hired just like that? Lily rushes over excitedly and asks if Brad passed. Brad tells her the good news with a smile. Lily congratulates Brad on successfully passing the interview. Then, after hesitating for a while, she admits, "Brad, you smell a bit." Brad dies of embarrassment on the spot. Lily reaches out and suggests he take off his dirty clothes first. Brad quickly crosses his arms to protect himself. "What are you trying to do?" Soon after, Lily's voice comes through. "Is it comfortable, Brad?" Brad answers from the bathroom, "Super comfortable." He didn't realize he smelled that bad before. Apparently, even the male lead's halo couldn't suppress that sour stench. After thinking this, he immediately sniffs himself to see if he still smells. However, the moment he sees the change of clothes, Brad freezes on the spot. He awkwardly puts on the clothes and comes out, explaining the shirt is a bit tight. But Lily says this is already the largest size. She thinks quickly and has him try taking off the outer layer. Brad does so and is overjoyed. This way his pecs really aren't being squeezed. Lily breathes a sigh of relief. Good thing the clothes didn't burst. Lily enthusiastically takes him on a tour of the estate. Finally, she brings him to the bedroom where he'll rest. Brad smiles gratefully, feeling like Lily is his lifesaver. Lily replies, "Fellow transmigrators should help each other out." She says seriously, "We're all in this together. No need to be polite." Brad smiles and agrees, feeling warm inside like he's carrying a little son. After explaining everything, Lily says goodbye and tells him she'll see him tomorrow. Brad watches her leave, full of hope for his new life. Thinking back, he was just sleeping at home when the ceiling crushed him to death. In the blink of an eye, he became the male lead, the Empire's first prince. But this identity also means he could be silenced by the second prince at any time. He'd even be forced to fight on the battlefield. There's absolutely no way he can do that. Since that's the case, whoever wants to be the first prince can have it. He needs to run first. On the other side, Lily also reflects that now that she has a companion, life is slowly getting better. With these thoughts, she gradually drifts into sweet dreams, until dawn quietly arrives. Lily is sleeping soundly in bed. A sharp pain strikes and Lily opens her eyes. This feeling is, she covers her face and wails. The monthly hellish torture is here again. She's frustrated that everything is great after transmigrating except period cramps can kill you. At this moment, a strange sound comes from outside the window. Lily grabs onto the window and looks down. She sees Brad downstairs, apparently going for a morning run. Lily shouts down asking what he's doing so early. Brad turns around at the sound and greets Lily. Lily then comes downstairs and asks curiously what he's doing. Brad answers, "Sweating. I'm doing my morning run, burning calories." Morning runs are his daily habit. He feels off if he doesn't run. He reveals he was an athlete. Running is ingrained in his DNA. He shows off his biceps, grateful that his body is still incredibly strong after transmigrating. Brad asks why she's up so early. Lily is about to speak, when her stomach suddenly hurts so much her soul trembles. She answers sadly, "I was forced to wake up to watch the sunrise." Brad asks curiously, "What's that? Is it magic?" Lily says irritably that she got her period. Hearing this, Brad blushes and hurriedly waves his hand, telling her to take care. Then Lily clutches her stomach and quickly escapes back to her room for refuge. Lily lies on the bed in despair. She never expected she'd have to suffer this after transmigrating. Her original body never had period pain, but the original owner, Marion's body, has period pain comparable to a magnitude 10 earthquake, and this damn world doesn't even have painkillers. No way, she has to leave here. She thinks that since this is a fantasy world, there must be mages. She needs to find a mage to send her back to reality. Suddenly thinking about money, Lily frantically searches for her wallet. However, her savings are pathetic. All that money was spent on buying all kinds of bread. She faces reality. She needs to make money first before finding a mage. She thinks about following other transmigrators' example and selling goods, but she has no skills. So she starts wondering if this world has loans. At this moment, a voice calls from outside the door asking if she's awake. Lily recognizes the voice and casually tells them to come in. The person is Michelle. She greets Lily with a smile. Good morning. Michelle explains that she didn't see her at the morning meeting and was worried something happened, so she came to check. Only then does Lily realize it's late. She's about to explain, when her stomach suddenly hurts sharply again. Michelle sees through it immediately and asks sympathetically, "Did you get your period?" Lily replies through the pain, "Yes." Then she quietly asks Michelle if she knows where to get a loan. Michelle quickly tells her that loans are illegal here. She nervously asks Lily if she's short on money or in big trouble. Lily quickly covers up, saying she's just curious and asking casually. After learning loans are illegal, Lily sighs helplessly. Looks like she can only make money through business. Lily suddenly thinks of Brad. She turns and asks Michelle about his situation. Michelle answers, "Everyone is super happy to see the new guy, and Brad is very easygoing, with a great physique. He's super popular." She finally understands why the master hired Brad. Lily asks curiously where Brad is working now. Michelle thinks for a moment and answers, "Brad should still be chopping wood." Lily immediately gets up to go find him. She immediately grabs his hand urgently and asks if he knows how to make industrial products. Brad looks completely confused. Lily explains she wants to do business to make money and hopes he can help think of what to make. Brad looks troubled and says he doesn't know how to make industrial products either. Just as Lily gets up to leave, her stomach hurts again. Brad quickly calls out to Lily and hands her a bag. Lily takes it with a confused look, curious about what's in the bag. Brad explains it's a hot water bottle. His sister often uses it for period cramps. Warming the stomach makes it feel better. He wanted to give it to her this morning. Lily is very touched and quickly thanks him. Holding the hot water bottle, she asks Brad, "Is it okay if you don't go back to reality?" Brad replies with a smile, "Maybe my original body is already gone. Forget it." Lily has no choice but to let it go and waves goodbye to him. At this moment, someone calls Brad to come help. Brad immediately gets up and goes to the shop to move things. Suddenly, soldiers appear at the shop. One holds up a portrait and asks the shopkeeper if he's seen the wanted criminal. Brad's heart tightens. He mutters to himself, "They're not looking for me, are they?" He leans closer to listen, and the more he hears, the more he thinks they're talking about him. Brad panics. If he'd known, he wouldn't have fled to the neighboring country. He recalls how tense his escape was and how hard it was to dodge the soldiers. There's no way he wants to go back to the palace to govern the country. That's too terrifying. A knight suddenly speaks from behind him. Brad jumps in fright. Brad's heart pounds as he asks what the knight wants. The knight holds up the wanted criminal's portrait and compares it to him. Fortunately, the wanted criminal's portrait looks different from him and is drawn very abstractly. The knight apologizes. "I mistook you for someone else." Brad breathes a sigh of relief. Turns out they're looking for an escaped convict. The knight looks at him in confusion and says he feels like they've met somewhere before. Brad hurriedly denies it and quickly turns his face away. He insists this is absolutely their first time meeting in this life. The attendant has no choice but to give up, apologizes with a bow, and leaves. Brad starts feeling scared in hindsight. Good thing his identity as the first prince wasn't recognized. Just when he thinks he's dodged a bullet, he discovers even more soldiers appearing outside the door. Hans explains they're currently searching for the escaped convict, so there are more soldiers. The earlier incident still has Brad shaken. He decides to himself that he must go back quickly, so he decides to go knock on Lily's door. After opening the door, he shouts, "Miss Lily, let's go back together." Lily answers groggily, wondering who's calling her. Brad looks at her curiously and asks what strange position this is. Lily explains through the pain that this is a special position for relieving period cramps. Lily gets up in confusion and asks why he suddenly changed his mind. Brad thinks to himself that he can't say he panicked because of the soldiers. He thinks on his feet and lies, saying he's afraid of getting sick, so he wants to go back. Lily goes along with it, saying there really isn't modern medicine here. However, she heard from Michelle that the sanctuary can cure many illnesses. Brad replies happily, "Then we don't need to worry too much about getting injured." However, he still complains that not being able to go online here is really inconvenient. Lily immediately agrees. That's true. She suggests they can think of a way to go back together. Brad immediately nods in agreement. Lily explains they'll need money to hire a mage to go back. Just like that, both of them fall into thought. At this moment, their stomachs suddenly growl, breaking the awkward silence. Lily suggests eating first and thinking of a solution after they're full. Brad smiles and quickly nods in agreement. The delicious food is so satisfying. They both feel like they've come back to life. Brad asks Lily curiously, "Haven't you eaten anything this whole time?" Lily admits she had no appetite because of the stomach pain and was busy thinking. She then asks Brad, Do you really have no ideas? Brad answers that his brain only has gym equipment and can't think of anything else. He gets creative and says they could make a human-powered treadmill. Lily shoots it down with one look. That won't make any money. Brad looks hurt, feeling like she hit a sore spot. He hugs his pecs and asks Lily what good ideas she has instead of just saying no. Lily admits she hasn't thought of anything either. She complains how would a high school senior about to take college entrance exams know so much outside of textbooks. Brad is scared by her overwhelming resentment. He hurriedly changes the subject, saying the food is delicious and urging Lily to eat quickly. Lily looks at the food in her bowl and suddenly has a light bulb moment. She suggests, "How about we make food they don't have here?" Brad immediately agrees. The two excitedly discuss what special food to make. Brad says he often drinks whey protein and can make a natural version. He then confidently begins explaining the preparation steps. Lily shoots it down, saying this thing won't sell here. She says she loves spicy rice cakes but doesn't know how to make chili sauce. The two are confused again. What food should they make? Lily stares at the oil by the table leg and suddenly has an epiphany. She realizes there's no fried food here. Everything is grilled or stewed. Lily excitedly asks Brad if he's seen any fried food being sold. Brad answers that he hasn't seen any here. Lily decides on the spot, then let's sell fried chicken. Brad is stunned. The idea of selling fried chicken is so sudden. Lily explains that fried chicken has broad appeal, and she wants to make money and leave quickly. Suddenly, her period cramps start acting up again. Brad quickly gets up in concern and asks if he should pour hot water for her. Lily weakly says while drinking hot water that she probably can't move today. She asks Brad if he knows how to cook. Brad quickly answers no, but he can learn. So the two immediately get a chicken from the kitchen. Brad rolls up his sleeves, full of energy, and prepares to cut the chicken into pieces. But the moment his hand touches the chicken, he looks troubled and says the texture feels weird. He looks miserable and says he really can't do it. Lily sighs helplessly and suggests they meet again in 2 days. 2 days later in the kitchen, Lily suggests handling the chicken first. Brad points at himself nervously and asks, "Do I still have to cut it?" Lily quickly reassures him, saying she'll cut it this time and he just needs to help start the fire. Brad rolls up his sleeves and guarantees he's got it covered. Lily's knife skills are good. She quickly handles the chicken neatly. After seasoning, the chicken is soaked in milk and patiently marinated. Lily turns to look at the fire in the stove and is instantly startled by the flames. Brad comes over excitedly and asks, "Is the fire good like this?" Lily is speechless. The fire is way too big. Brad is even proudly sharing his secret, saying he uses muscle power to fan vigorously. Lily's hair instantly gets messed up by the strong wind. He's using a thick cutting board as a fan. His strength is incredible. Brad is still boasting away, but Lily is worried the kitchen will explode at this rate. Brad finally realizes something's wrong, quickly apologizes for being too absorbed and adjusts the fire. The fire is finally just right. Lily announces they can start frying. First, they pour flour into the cloth bag with the chicken. Then they shake the bag wildly so every piece of chicken is coated with flour. Finally, they put the flour-coated chicken into the hot oil. However, strangely, the oil doesn't make a sizzling sound. Lily says the heat still isn't quite enough. Brad immediately responds with the cutting board, saying he'll control his strength this time. He fans gently, and the oil immediately starts sizzling. Lily continues following the steps. After frying, they need to fry it again. This way, the coating becomes crispier. The golden fried chicken finally comes out, giving off a tempting aroma. Lily suggests tasting it while it's hot and hands a piece to Brad. Brad can't wait and takes a bite. Lily also takes a small bite, but the anticipation on both their faces instantly freezes. Brad asks hesitantly, "Miss Lily, are you sure you know how to make fried chicken?" Lily responds confidently, "Who makes their own fried chicken these days?" She argues that it's because they're used to professional takeout that it seems ordinary. Lily suggests having people from the estate try it to see the reaction. At this moment, Michelle is attracted by the aroma coming from the kitchen. Lily quickly picks up the fried chicken and has her come try it. She introduces it as original fried chicken. Michelle picks up the plate and smells it. Then she takes a bite. Lily nervously asks, "Is it good or not?" Michelle's expression sours as she says bluntly, "This fried chicken is terrible." She complains that the texture is very greasy and makes her feel a bit nauseous. Lily falls into thought. All the steps were right, so what went wrong? She checks the freshness, seasoning, and batter but can't find the problem. Brad asks quietly at this moment, "Can I put out the fire now?" Lily suddenly has an epiphany. The problem is with the heat. She analyzes that manually controlling the fire makes the temperature unstable, causing the chicken to absorb too much oil. Lily decides to research controlling temperature with firewood amount next. At this moment, Brad suddenly remembers the first prince has the ability to control fire. An idea comes to him. Should he secretly experiment? So Brad takes advantage of the night to go to a forest far from the estate. He thinks that if the original owner could control fire, the transmigrator should be able to as well. Brad strikes what he thinks is a cool pose and shouts, "Fireball!" The surroundings are completely silent with no reaction. He's so embarrassed his face turns red. He really wants to crawl into a hole. Just when he's feeling down, a flame suddenly appears out of nowhere. Brad is shocked and delighted. He didn't expect it to actually work. He exclaims, "The blue flame is amazing. It's not hot at all. He wonders, is this the protagonist's exclusive cool skill? And the state is unstable. 2. Brad guesses that maybe it's because he's not the original owner that he can't control it properly. He decides to try again. So he strikes the summoning pose again, but the flame slowly disappears. Seeing this, Brad thinks, what exactly is the principle behind igniting the fire? He recalls the earlier scene and feels more and more embarrassed. In his embarrassment and anger, the flame appears again. This trigger mechanism is too weird. He complains that in the original story, the first prince used it so easily. Does he have to recall embarrassing moments every time he uses the ability? Brad calms down and still feels something's off. This definitely isn't the right method. He recalls his professor's words that controlling fire, like exercise, depends on mindset. He decides to visualize the flame in his mind and try to control it naturally. A simple flame is too boring. He adds a ton of settings to the flame. Satisfied with his imagination, he takes a deep breath and prepares to try. He shouts, "Fireball, attack!" But the scene completely spirals out of control. Brad panics. Not only did he fail to control it, he can't put out the fire. At this moment, he smells something burning. He turns and discovers the grass on the ground has caught fire. Unable to find water in his panic, he decides to smother the fire with his clothes. After the fire is finally put out, Brad is covered in dust and looks totally disheveled. He sighs. Today has really been an unlucky day. Although he successfully controlled fire, he could only do it by completely embarrassing himself. Brad is exhausted physically and mentally. He just wants to go back and get a good night's sleep. The next morning, Lily sees him and asks in shock why his hair is burnt. Brad lies, saying he bumped his head on a lamp. Lily watches him clumsily cut his hair and laughs, saying he looks like he's cutting scallions. Lily picks up the scissors and offers to help cut his hair. After finishing the clean, short haircut, Brad looks at himself in the mirror and thanks her repeatedly. Lily says frankly that she wanted to fix his messy hair the first time she saw him. Now he finally looks clean. Brad asks pitifully if he looked that bad before. Lily honestly nods. Hans comes over at this moment and says there's a heavy object he can't move and needs their help. Brad leans forward curiously and asks what this huge thing is. Eve appears with a mask and a smile, answering, "It's a refrigerator." Because she wanted to eat something cold, she ordered this big refrigerator. She imagines filling it with beer, exclaiming that cold beer is the best. Brad has a light bulb moment. Perhaps magic items can solve the firepower problem too. He excitedly steps forward to thank Eve for giving him inspiration. No sooner said than done. After he and Hans work together to move the refrigerator into place, Brad immediately goes to the magic shop to buy fire-related magic items to solve the fried chicken problem. Brad enters and tentatively calls out if anyone's there, but the shop is pitch black and doesn't look like anyone's there. The shopkeeper responds drowsily at this moment, yawning and welcoming him to the shop. Brad quickly explains his purpose, saying he wants to buy fire-related magic items. The shopkeeper immediately recommends with a smile and takes out an item embedded with fire magic. She explains in detail that this item can precisely adjust and maintain temperature, making it perfect for cooking delicious meat. Brad is very tempted and quickly asks about the price. The shopkeeper says 2 million gold coins. Brad freezes on the spot. The shopkeeper explains that because people with magic are so rare, mana stones are incredibly expensive. Brad looks troubled and sighs. This price is way over budget. The shopkeeper sees his concern and says there's a much cheaper option. Brad's eyes light up and he quickly asks what item it is. This one. The shopkeeper takes out an item and hands it to him. Brad looks confused. Isn't this the same as before? The shopkeeper explains, this one doesn't have a mana stone, sir, and it only costs 10 gold coins. Brad immediately decides to buy it. Then he realizes buying an item without magic power is useless. The shopkeeper retorts, you said you wanted something cheap. Brad replies helplessly, but an item that can't produce fire is meaningless. The shopkeeper says casually, just inject magic power into it and it'll produce fire. If that doesn't work, buy the 2 million one? Brad is left speechless, but he's strapped for cash. He can only pay for this cheap item. He brings the magic item to the forest and complains that it all comes back to using magic power anyway. Brad reassures himself that maybe he just needs to simply inject magic power. He shouts internally to awaken his sense of embarrassment. Sure enough, he successfully activates the item. Brad is thrilled. He quickly takes the item to find Lily and share the good news. Lily comes over curiously and asks where he got this item. Brad answers with flushed cheeks that he bought it cheap and just contributed his sense of shame. Lily immediately imagines strange scenarios. Brad hurriedly says it's not what she's thinking and urges her to quickly try frying chicken. Lily immediately rolls up her sleeves, ready to get to work. The two pray anxiously that the fried chicken will be successful this time. Before long, the golden fried chicken comes out, smelling wonderful. They can't wait to taste it. After tasting it, Brad shouts excitedly, "This tastes amazing!" Lily is also very satisfied after tasting it. It seems the heat problem is really solved. Then they decide to have people from the estate taste test it. Lily sees Michelle outside the window and immediately goes out and enthusiastically calls her over. She hands her the fried chicken, saying this this batch was remade and asking her to try it again. Michelle sees the fried chicken and remembers the terrible experience last time. She's very resistant. She quickly makes an excuse about hanging laundry and hurriedly tries to escape. Then she spots Hans and immediately calls him over to taste test. After saying this, she takes the opportunity to slip away. Lily sighs at the sight. It seems Michelle was really traumatized by the terrible fried chicken last time. Hans walks over leisurely at this moment and asks why they called him. Lily hands him the fried chicken and invites Hans to help taste it. Once Hans hears it's the terrible chicken Michelle mentioned, he immediately refuses. After being refused repeatedly, they return to the kitchen. Lily says helplessly that everyone's resistance is too strong. Brad sighs. So, first impressions really are that important, Lily suggests. Since we think it's good, why don't we try selling it at the market? Besides, she's already found a good spot to set up a stall. Brad agrees. Let's do it. So they go to the market to sell, but unfortunately, not a single person is willing to buy. Lily is full of confusion. Could it be that people here aren't familiar with fried food, which is why they're so resistant? At this moment, a green-haired merchant named Jason passes by, muttering to himself. Free samples of strange food are way too suspicious. Brad sees through the merchant's concerns at a glance. He actively steps forward and enthusiastically invites him to try some. Jason deliberately ignores the invitation and starts promoting his own goods to others. Lily sighs helplessly. It seems this merchant is intentionally avoiding the free samples. The two look at each other, blankly, completely unsure what they did wrong. Just when they're feeling down and discouraged, someone finally asks if they can try a sample. Brad is instantly excited and quickly responds with a smile, saying she can taste as much as she wants. And surprisingly, this person is actually the magic item merchant. Brad is completely surprised and asks why she's here. The magic item merchant explains that she ran out of ingredients at home and came to the market to shop. Brad warmly invites her to try today's featured fried chicken. The magic item merchant suggests they just call her Karen. She glances at the magic item on the stall and immediately recognizes it as the one she sold. Karen asks curiously, "There are no magic users in the village. How do you recharge it?" Brad doesn't explain and just focuses on recommending the fried chicken for her to try. Karen readily agrees, wanting to try one first to see how it tastes. Jason nearby suddenly panics and tries to stop Karen, but it's already too late. Karen has already taken a big bite of the drumstick. Jason is completely speechless at the sight. He loudly complains that she dared to eat it without even knowing what it is. Karen is about to say it's fine when her expression suddenly changes and the drumstick drops. Jason immediately steps forward and asks if there's something wrong with the food, but Karen shouts in delight, "This fried chicken is amazing!" She praises it repeatedly, saying the chicken is crispy and fragrant, filled with delicious juices. Lily and Brad are ecstatic. The fried chicken is finally getting recognition. Karen decides on the spot to buy a portion of fried chicken for tonight's dinner. Jason looks completely confused. Is this thing really that good? He's just raising his hand to say he wants some fried chicken too when someone stops him. Market elder Anna walks over, stops Jason, and asks, "Are you going to try this strange food too?" Jason explains, "I saw Karen enjoying it so much. It should be fine." Anna immediately sees through it, saying this is obviously the two of them putting on a show to sell their goods. After hearing Anna's words, Jason does feel like these two are advertising. After paying, Karen hurriedly says goodbye and leaves the market. Jason watches her leave and feels even more suspicious about this whole thing. Brad continues to smile and promote the fried chicken to Jason. Jason firmly refuses, thinking he won't be fooled by their act. Brad mutters quietly that it feels like this merchant despises them even more now. 4 hours later, they've only sold that one portion to Karen. Brad looks dejected. He thought Karen would encourage others to buy. Lily looks at the leftover, fried chicken, also worried about what to do with it. Lily suggests while eating that since no one at the estate will eat it, they might as well finish it before leaving. She thinks they can't keep going like this. They need to change their sales strategy quickly. Just as she's worrying, she suddenly hears Brad eating the fried chicken with relish. She sees Brad is focused on eating the fried chicken, enjoying it immensely. Especially his satisfied and blissful expression makes it look incredibly appetizing. Lily looks at him like this, and suddenly has a light bulb moment with a new idea. Brad looks confused, not knowing why Lily is suddenly so excited. Lily says thoughtfully that she wonders if this world has that kind of item. She asks Brad where exactly the magic shop is located. Brad quickly tells her in detail that if they go out from here and turn left, they'll find it. After quickly thanking him, Lily immediately heads to the magic shop. She successfully finds the magic shop and asks if they have a voice amplifier. Karen says the shop happens to have one. Lily is super happy. She can finally implement her new sales plan. She plans to have Brad do an ASMR mukbang to attract customers' attention. Karen takes out the voice amplifier and tells Lily the price is 1.5 million gold coins. Lily freezes on the spot. This price is way more expensive than she imagined. She tentatively asks Karen if she can rent the voice amplifier. Lily solemnly promises she'll return it clean, and during this period she'll provide her with unlimited fried chicken. Karen is deeply tempted by the fried chicken and asks how long the rental will be. Lily immediately explains the rental period, and both parties successfully reach an agreement. That evening, the two come to the market again. Anna is totally speechless when she sees them. These two keep fiddling with things, and she has no idea what they're up to. Anna feels the more persistent they are, the more suspicious this business seems. She gathers people around and emphasizes they absolutely must not eat this strange food. Anna thinks that as a market elder, she firmly rejects anything of unknown origin. At their fried chicken stall, Brad looks resistant, asking if they really have to do this. It's way too embarrassing. Lily patiently encourages him, saying he's underestimating his own charm. She tells Brad to believe in himself and to learn to trust reliable her. Brad is instantly impressed by these words. Since that's the case, he decides he can give it a try. So Lily carefully adjusts the voice amplifier and starts testing the microphone. She enthusiastically promotes to the surroundings, announcing that Brad's mukbang show is about to begin. Lily emphasizes this is a dual audio-visual treat, and everyone comes to watch. After everything is ready, Lily signals Brad that he can start. Brad is about to speak when Lily stops him from making any sound. He has no choice but to pick up a piece of fried chicken and take a big bite. As the fried chicken enters his mouth, Brad is thoroughly enjoying it. Today's fried chicken seems especially delicious. The voice amplifier broadcasts the crunchy chewing sounds, which are very soothing. Soon, Brad is completely immersed. He feels like it's just him and the fried chicken at this moment. He eats with relish, the juices dripping everywhere. It's incredibly captivating. People around can't help but drool. This fried chicken looks really delicious. Someone is about to buy a portion of fried chicken when Anna steps forward to stop them, reminding everyone they can't eat strange food. But the way Brad is eating the fried chicken is just too appetizing. Someone can't resist the temptation and steps forward to ask if they can try a sample. Lily quickly picks up the plate with a smile, warmly inviting them to taste it. That person immediately takes a bite, instantly conquered by the deliciousness, and can't help but recommend it to their companion, telling them to try it too. After the companion eats it, they praise it even more. The customer is super satisfied and decides on the spot to buy a whole fried chicken. Lily quickly packs up the fried chicken and hands it over, saying, "That'll be 1 silver coin." The customer didn't expect it to be so cheap, and says on the spot they'll come here every day to buy fried chicken. Lily promises they'll set up the stall tomorrow. The customer leaves happily. With the first customer leading the way, everyone rushes forward to buy. The stall is instantly packed with people. The two are incredibly busy. Lily is ecstatic inside. This sales strategy really works. She excitedly tells Brad that today's fried chicken sales are amazing. Lily tells Brad to keep it up. She needs him to work hard for a bit longer. Just like that, Brad's mukbang continues to be wildly popular, and their fried chicken business is unprecedentedly successful. Not only are they making a fortune, but their spirits are fulfilled and satisfied. Seeing this opportunity, Lily is determined to push the business to a new stage. She suggests renting a proper storefront instead of being limited to a market stall. Brad immediately agrees and asks when they should go rent a place. Lily answers that today happens to be a day off, so they can go handle the contract now. Before long, they've successfully signed the rental contract. Now their fried chicken business has smoothly entered the next phase. Lily is full of fighting spirit. We need to manage it even more seriously. But before long, she's troubled to discover that the current pricing isn't making any money at all. She carefully does the math and realizes that after deducting rent and materials, they can't make ends meet at all. So she decisively decides to raise prices. Otherwise, they'll never save enough money to hire a mage, Brad exclaims after hearing this. But raising it to 5 silver coins is too extreme. Lily says helplessly that if they don't raise prices, they'll have to fry chicken for the rest of their lives until they die. Brad panics more and more, even imagining that miserable future. In the end, he can only sigh and compromise. This really is a necessary measure. Lily suggests they can post a notice first and officially raise prices next month, which would be more stable. Neither of them feels confident. They can only pray they won't be scolded too harshly by customers. The next month, after customers see the notice, they come over to ask about the price increase, saying it's a bit expensive. Lily quickly steps forward to explain that the price was adjusted because they moved to a storefront. She secretly worries customers will be angry. Unexpectedly, the customers are understanding, saying 1 silver coin was indeed too cheap before. Lily is very touched and quickly gives an extra piece of fried chicken for free to show her gratitude. The two are pleasantly surprised to find that customers' backlash is much smaller than expected. Everyone understands the reason for the price increase. Even on the last day before the price increase, customers flock in to buy fried chicken. After the price increase, their business remains hot, and their assets grow steadily. But at the same time, Lily, who has to work 2 jobs, is already exhausted. While sweeping, she worries about when they'll save enough to reach their target amount. If this continues, her body won't be able to hold up. Suddenly, she's not paying attention while walking and accidentally kicks someone's foot. She winces in pain and looks down, only to see a butt right in front of her. Oh, it's Brad! He's lying on the ground, sound asleep. Lily quickly pats his butt to wake him up, wondering how he fell asleep here. Brad wakes up looking dazed, not remembering at all that he fell asleep. He guesses that maybe his stamina ran out and he fell asleep without realizing it. Lily thinks that working as servants while running the fried chicken shop has severely drained their energy. She then suggests shortening the shop's business hours. They must rest properly. Brad worries this will affect their money-making progress. Lily emphasizes that chronic fatigue will hurt the business. Rest comes first. She patiently persuades him that balancing work and rest is sustainable. There's no need to rush things. Brad is successfully convinced and agrees to slow down and accumulate funds calmly. But once they relax, it's easy to become lazy. From then on, the days they open the shop become fewer and fewer. On this day, when they open for business, they find customers are few and far between. They're full of confusion. They just opened a bit late. How did this happen? Anna suddenly appears at this moment, angrily questioning them. Do you know your fried chicken shop hasn't opened for 5 days? Lily hurriedly steps forward to explain it was delayed because they were too busy recently. Anna shows no mercy and accuses them on the spot of having no sense of responsibility in running the shop. She complains that the shop is covered in dust. Of course customers are getting fewer. Anna lectures them directly. Who isn't busy? Who isn't tired? Even so, you can't be so careless with your business. If you two don't want to do business, then don't run a shop. The two are torn to shreds and can't say anything in their defense. They quickly step forward to apologize. But Anna says bluntly that the people they should apologize to are the customers. Before leaving, she warns them she'll be watching their future performance. After Anna leaves, the two are dejected from the scolding. They even start missing their family members who always nagged them. The two pull themselves together and decide to fix their business hours to avoid slacking off again. Brad immediately agrees. They decide to act on it right away, immediately starting to clean the shop to prepare for reopening. Unfortunately, once trust collapses, rebuilding it is really difficult. Although there are still a few scattered customers, business is far from as hot as before. Brad looks at the empty shop and starts to regret. He thought the problem was too simple before. Lily suggests doing another mukbang to aim for higher attention and bring customers back. But Brad looks troubled. He's not very willing to do mukbang anymore. Lily is full of confusion. Did the mukbang during this period stress you out? Brad quickly denies it, saying the fried chicken has always been super delicious. It's just that eating fried chicken every day causes body fat to skyrocket. He now feels he's gotten noticeably fatter. Lily falls into deep thought again. How can they get customers to come back? At this moment, someone suddenly bursts into the shop in a panic, shouting loudly if anyone can help. Lily immediately recognizes this as the owner of the town's largest chicken farm and asks what's wrong. Joseph is so anxious he's sweating profusely, saying his chickens are almost all dead. Lily is shocked and confused, quickly asking what happened. Joseph is too anxious to say the creature's name and only describes it as a black, multi-legged thing. Both instinctively guess it's a cockroach. But how would a cockroach eat chickens? Joseph hurriedly waves his hands to correct them, saying the thing has long legs and runs super fast. The more anxious he gets, the more he just tells them to come with him and see for themselves. Brad quickly finds a kitchen knife to use as a weapon and rushes to the chicken farm. As soon as they enter the chicken coop, they indeed see a pitch-black thing biting chickens. Joseph excitedly points at the creature, saying this is the thing harming the chickens. Lily and Brad are shocked on the spot. Could this be the legendary monster? Brad guesses it's a giant spider, but Joseph says with certainty it's a magic beast. He explains that this kind of magic beast occasionally comes to the village to cause trouble. Lily tries hard to remember. The original story seemed to have settings about magic beasts. Brad suggests calling soldiers to handle it would be better. The current situation is dangerous, but Joseph says the magic beast isn't very big. A few people working together should be able to handle it. Brad is hesitating about whether to take action, when he suddenly sees a chicken in danger and shouts for them to go help together. After saying this, he charges forward with a kitchen knife. Lily also starts looking for a handy weapon, but when she looks back, she finds Joseph hasn't moved and is stammering that he has urgent business. Lily is completely speechless. These are his own chickens, and he actually wants to run away. At this moment, Brad suddenly shouts, warning that the magic beast can spray something like webs. Lily grabs a stick and hurriedly urges Joseph to go help, but he admits he's actually very afraid of spiders. Lily freezes on the spot at this. Joseph clutches his head and shouts in despair, "I'm scared of regular spiders, let alone magic beasts." Lily doesn't even know what to say anymore at this sight. Brad is holding a chicken at this moment, shouting that he can't hold on alone much longer. Lily has no choice but to go help herself and tells Joseph to go call others for help. Joseph immediately agrees happily, saying he'll be back soon. Lily suddenly stops him and proposes on the spot that the condition for helping is a discount on chicken prices. Brad is shocked. She's talking business at such a critical moment. Lily retorts confidently that they're in extraordinary times lately. Joseph has no choice but to agree helplessly. After saying this, he turns and runs away quickly. Lily is super proud after hearing this and brags to Brad that she negotiated a low price. But when she turns around, Brad is covered in webs all over, looking just like a mummy. Lily looks at Brad wrapped up like a mummy in webs and exclaims in shock. She anxiously calls Brad's name, asking if he's okay. Brad responds with difficulty that he's fine, just having some trouble moving. Lily nervously warns him that the magic beast seems to want to eat him now. Brad instantly panics. He keeps shaking his body and shouting that dying here would be too unfair. He urgently calls to Lily for help. Lily grips the kitchen knife in her hand and decides to try cutting the webs to save Brad. However, after a while, the surroundings suddenly become unusually quiet. Brad worries that Lily was attacked by the magic beast. Just as he's overthinking, Lily's voice sounds in his ear. Brad's heart lifts, thinking Lily successfully cut through the webs, but Lily admits awkwardly that she's also been caught in the magic beast's webs. Brad sighs helplessly. This magic beast really isn't that easy to defeat. He thinks they can only wait for Joseph to bring people to rescue them. Lily asks Brad if he can remember any settings about magic beasts. Brad answers that he was focused on working out and only read a little bit of the novel. Lily complains that she only read the first part, which didn't mention magic beast settings at all. Brad is conflicted about whether to use fire to escape, but he's afraid of exposing his identity as the first prince. At this moment, strange sounds come from outside. The magic beast seems to be gnawing on them. Lily raises the kitchen knife and says if this continues, they'll both be eaten by the magic beast. So she decides to try cutting the webs from inside. Maybe they can successfully escape. Unfortunately, multiple attempts fail. The webs still firmly bind both of them. Suddenly, the two feel like they're spinning wildly. They're being spun around by the magic beast. The creature probably wants to break them down. Brad hesitates no more and immediately decides to take action to save himself and Lily. Brad decisively activates his fire magic. The blue flames instantly burn the entangling webs. The tough webs begin to disintegrate and break. When Lily wakes up again, she finds herself freed and outside. Her dress just has burn marks from the flames. Even Brad's shirt has been burned into a heart shape on his chest, exposing his pecs. She silently complains that even at a time like this, Brad still looks so handsome. Lily asks curiously if he created this blue fire. Brad admits he has fire magic and nervously waits for her reaction. He thinks Lily will figure out he's the male lead and feels super anxious inside. Unexpectedly, Lily complains that he should have used magic earlier. She even calculates that although they suffered, negotiating a low chicken price was worth it. Brad looks confused and asks Lily if she doesn't think it's strange he can use magic, but Lily still thinks he's a special commoner. Brad quickly goes along with it, pretending he really is a special commoner. Lily has a realization. No wonder he could buy magic items cheaply. Brad quickly asks Lily to keep it secret for him. He doesn't want others to. Lily readily nods in agreement, thinking being exploited by others would indeed cause a lot of trouble. She changes the subject and asks Brad to help inject magic into the voice amplifier. Brad agrees immediately. Lily then catches sight of something at the magic beast's remains. The two curiously walk closer and discover it's a mysterious object that looks like a seed. Brad taps the shell and finds there seems to be liquid inside. He asks Lily for a knife to pry it open. After prying open the shell, there really is yellow liquid inside. Brad touches it and discovers it's actually oil. Lily dabs some on her hand and smells it, finding the oil is clear and has no odor. She suddenly has a light bulb moment and suggests using this oil to fry chicken to save costs. Brad looks hesitant. Is it really okay to fry chicken with oil from a magic beast? Lily carefully does the math. Oil expenses are high, so they should save where they can. After Brad taste tests it and confirms it's safe, he finally nods in agreement. Lily is extremely happy. Feeling this way, they can save up to their target amount faster. Just then, Joseph's voice comes from the distance. He's brought people. Miss Anna also arrives with everyone. She looks around asking where the magic beast is and why only Lily and Brad are here. Everyone stares at Joseph, in unison, waiting for him to explain what's going on. Joseph looks surprised. He didn't expect the two of them to actually deal with the magic beast. Lily and Brad say with a smile that the magic beast has indeed been dealt with. She points at the magic beast's remains, lying that these are the bones left after processing. Anna recognizes the remains on the ground and wonders how these two defeated the magic beast. Lily is about to mention fire magic when Brad quickly interrupts her. She thinks on her feet and makes up a reason, saying they lit the webs on fire and it spread to the magic beast. Anna looks confused, but magic beasts are usually only afraid of magic fire. Brad quickly adds details, saying the secret is to light the fire on the webs close to the magic beast. Only then does Anna understand. She praises them for being impressive and says they worked hard. Lily then turns to find Joseph and reminds him of the discount agreement he promised earlier, but Joseph starts playing dumb, saying the earlier agreement was just a joke. Lily immediately argues back. If it was a joke, she would have left the chicken farm alone. She signals Brad to step forward together. They grab Joseph to go revise the contract right now. Joseph immediately cries out loudly to Anna for help, but Anna ignores him and directly prepares to organize everyone to go back. Joseph wails as he's dragged away, having no choice but to admit defeat and go revise the contract. On the other side, Eve is on a call with her father, her tone lively and super cheerful. The Duke asks about her recent situation on the phone and inquires when she'll come home. Eve makes excuses, saying there's still much unknown in the world and won't give a clear answer. She then hurriedly hangs up, leaving the Duke on the other end of the line confused. The Duke had been feeling, lately, that his daughter has become strange, her temperament completely different from before, so he's determined to take special measures to get his real daughter back. On the other end of the call, Eve has Mira take away the backdrop. Mira rolls up the backdrop while wondering why she needed to use it. Eve patiently explains that if she stays in her room all the time, her father will worry. This backdrop is a prop for faking backgrounds. The purpose is to put her father at ease. Only then does Mira understand. After finishing the call, Eve happily continues drinking beer. Mira silently complains to herself that Eve used to never touch alcohol. She recalls that Eve has been completely like a different person since saying she wanted to travel. Eve suddenly looks up and asks, "Mira, are you thinking the same thing?" Mira panics instantly. Did she say her thoughts out loud? Eve just muses to herself that beer with fried food is the perfect combination. She complains that Western food gets boring after a while. She really wants some fried food to satisfy her cravings. Mira looks confused, saying she's never heard of this fried food. Eve is shocked. There's no fried food here? She thinks about making it herself, but her hands are too clumsy. She definitely can't do it well. Mira steps forward and suggests Eve describe fried food and she'll help find it. Eve explains in detail that fried food is food cooked by putting ingredients in hot oil. She especially emphasizes it should preferably be meat. Mira promises she'll definitely find it. Eve says there's no need, but secretly hopes to eat fried food. After leaving, Mira goes to find the head chef. But she finds the head chef eating a golden chicken leg. The head chef hurriedly covers up, saying he's tasting a novel food that came out recently. He introduces it to Mira as fried chicken cooked in hot oil. When Mira hears the keyword fried, her eyes instantly light up. Before long, she brings a portion of fried chicken to find Eve. Eve is completely surprised. She didn't expect Mira to find it so quickly. Mira explains that servants at the estate are selling this food. Eve is a bit surprised at this and has her bring it over to see. Mira lifts the lid as asked. Eve curiously leans over to look. After seeing it, she's instantly shocked. This is actually fried chicken, not the fried vegetable she expected. She quickly asks Mira which servant is selling this food. Mira awkwardly admits she forgot to ask the head chef for their names. Seeing this, Eve can only have her leave first. After Mira comes out, she mutters to herself, "Miss Eve's changes are really too abnormal. From her tone of voice to her lifestyle habits, she's completely like a different person." She wanted to comfort herself that it was an illusion, but feels more and more that something's wrong. Just then, the communication device she carries suddenly rings. It's a call from the Duke. Mira hurriedly finds a quiet place and answers the Duke's call. The Duke expresses concern for his daughter in the communication. He senses Eve is somewhat distancing herself from him. He feels his daughter is both like herself and not like herself, feeling especially unfamiliar. Mira honestly admits she also feels like Eve is possessed. The Duke anxiously asks for Eve's location, wanting to personally take his daughter to the sanctuary. Mira says the place named Celeste. The Duke exclaims why there, of all places. She quickly explains that Eve insisted on coming and she had no way to stop her. After the communication ends, Mira thinks to herself that she needs to have the Duke come take Miss Eve back. On the other side at the market, Lily is loudly calling out promotions in front of the shop. With the voice amplifier on her head, she loudly announces a limited time special on fried chicken, dropping from 5 silver coins back to 1. Lily frantically hands out flyers while shouting, inviting everyone to visit tonight. She's full of worry. Will anyone come with such a big promotion? Unexpectedly, the promotion works incredibly well. They're so busy they're exhausted again. Brad says with relief that this promotion should help win back customer trust. Lily nods in agreement, saying they need to pull themselves together now and work hard. Brad suggests closing early today. Lily immediately raises both hands in agreement. The two drag their tired bodies back to the estate, but they see Mira standing at the door waiting for them. She then brings the two of them to see the master. After entering the room, Lily anxiously asks what the master wants with them, but Eve suddenly has Mira leave temporarily, wanting to speak with the two alone. Although Mira is full of confusion, she still respectfully agrees. Lily is even more confused at this. Eve's expression is serious at this moment. She says she has something to say. The two quickly listen attentively. She suddenly changes the subject and asks, "Who created the writing system?" Lily and Brad are instantly dumbfounded. They didn't expect this kind of question. Seeing the two not reacting for a while, Eve mutters quietly if she guessed wrong. The two suddenly snap back and answer in unison, "King Sejong." Eve excitedly starts a rapid-fire question session. Both can answer every question. Eve stands up even more excitedly. She hugs both of them and shouts, "Correct answers!" Lily can't contain her excitement and boldly guesses if the master is also a transmigrator. Eve admits with a smile and asks back if they're also from modern times. Brad is extremely shocked. He never expected to meet their own kind. Eve excitedly raises a glass and sighs that she really didn't expect to meet fellow countrymen here. She suggests they should really have a drink. Lily and Brad quickly wave their hands. They say they're still students and don't drink. Eve says with a smile that she's past her student days. Everyone can relax and chat freely. After chatting, Eve is surprised they actually have a way to return to reality. Lily quickly explains she's just guessing they can find a mage to go back. Eve looks confused. This place is pretty nice. You can drink alcohol. How free? Lily can't help but complain that she's being tortured by period cramps and can barely survive. Eve turns to look at Brad, curious about his reason for wanting to go back. Brad admits that having no internet is too painful. Actually, he just doesn't want to be a prince. She instantly understands. It seems the two are selling fried chicken to raise money for a mage's commission fee. Lily nods lightly in response, saying they need to raise about 10 million gold coins. Eve is very shocked after hearing this. Raising such a huge amount by selling fried chicken? She suddenly has a light bulb moment and suggests she can subsidize part of the money. After all, she transmigrated into a wealthy family as a young lady. 10 million gold coins isn't much to her. Subsidizing them is completely fine. Lily and Brad are ecstatic. They really didn't expect such good fortune. The two are instantly in complete awe of Eve, wildly showering her with flattery. Eve immediately goes to find Mira and asks if the family has 10 million gold coins. Mira responds honestly that they naturally have it, but using it would affect her travel funds. She then reminds Eve that once this money is used up, she'll have to end her trip and go home. Eve has no choice but to return feeling disappointed. She comes in and helplessly tells them that for certain reasons she can't subsidize them anymore. Lily expresses understanding. After all, the amount they need is huge. The two then start discussing how to save money. Eve watches them working so hard and feels very sympathetic. Suddenly, she thinks of a new solution and suggests she can sponsor them long-term. Eve patiently explains the plan. After sponsorship, they'll lower prices and rely on high volume with small margins. This way, sales will increase significantly, and overall profits will actually be more substantial. Lily and Brad quickly agree. Having sponsorship is exactly what they want. The three immediately hit it off and quickly finalize the sponsorship details. With Eve's sponsorship, the fried chicken business has returned to its peak and successfully becomes the village's top seller. Finally, a long-awaited day off arrives. Lily nestles in bed and stretches comfortably. Lily sighs with contentment. Sales are stable and the weather is great. It's perfect. She lies down peacefully to sleep, wanting to fully enjoy this rare day off. Someone calls her in her sleep. A gentle voice wakes her from slumber. Michelle comes to remind her that it's already evening. If she doesn't get up soon, it'll be too late. Lily groggily gets up. She can't believe she slept for so long. Thinking about how the day off passed in a flash, she can't help but look melancholy. Michelle encourages her to cheer up. Founding Day is in 2 weeks. The Travis Empire's 56th founding day is a huge event. She'll be able to have a great time then. Michelle hands her a flyer stating the festival will last 1 week. She explains this is the annual celebration commemorating the founding. People from across the nation will come. Lily looks at the flyer in amazement. This is practically a world-class major festival. She suddenly has a light bulb moment. With so many people, they can sell fried chicken. She urgently asks Michelle where exactly the festival is being held. Michelle answers in confusion that Travis is the name of the empire. Only then does Lily realize. No wonder the name sounded familiar. It's the Empire. There's absolutely no way she's going. On the other side at the market, Jason holds a flyer thinking seriously. Brad suddenly appears and greets him, startling Jason. Jason wonders why Brad is at the market on his day off. Brad explains he's just strolling around. He asks Jason curiously what he's looking at so intently. Jason hands him the flyer, saying he's considering whether to attend Founding Day. Brad takes the flyer and sees the words Travis Empire. He's instantly shocked, his eyes widening. Jason asks back, "Don't tell me this is your first time hearing about Founding Day." Brad answers, "I'm from a remote countryside, so I don't know. Why does Celeste have flyers from the Empire?" Jason explains that the ceasefire agreement has been in place for a long time. The two countries have exchanges. He adds that Founding Day is a great opportunity to make money. It'd be a shame to miss it. He gives the flyer to Brad and invites them to go make some money together. Brad agrees on the surface, but turns around and burns the flyer with fire. He secretly decides he must keep Founding Day a secret from Lily. That day at the estate, Eve asks if the two want to attend Founding Day. Lily and Brad freeze at the same time. Their faces are full of resistance. Eve is puzzled. Why don't they want to go to such a great money-making? Lily stammers and makes up an excuse that her former boss was 76 years old and actually wanted to force her to marry him. Eve is shocked and complains, "Does this old man have dementia?" She comforts Lily. "Encountering such a creep, you really had it rough." Eve turns to Brad and asks why he doesn't want to go. Brad makes up an even more outrageous excuse, saying he lent his identity to an acquaintance who ran away, so now he can't return to the Empire either. Eve is equally sympathetic. "You really can't lend money to acquaintances casually. It's such a trap." She sighs with regret. Missing Founding Day, such a great chance to cash in, is really a shame. At this moment, she suddenly thinks of a solution and suggests they go in disguise, like how she wears a mask and no one can recognize her at all. Eve continues persuading them that even without a mask, simple disguises can get them by. Hearing this, both are conflicted inside. If they're the protagonists, will something go wrong if they go to the Empire? Eve urges them. They need to make money quickly so they can find a mage to go back. She reminds Lily, period cramps come every month. Do you want to keep suffering? Lily suddenly awakens to reality, realizing she only has a few days left this month before her period. Eve also warns Brad that medical care here is super expensive, especially treating certain illnesses. She calculates that the money for treatment would require selling tons of fried chicken to earn back. Brad is startled. He didn't expect medical care to be so expensive. While listening to Eve's persuasion, he thinks to himself that he's actually afraid of being recognized as a prince. At this moment, Lily suddenly makes up her mind and shouts that she's going to Founding Day. She doesn't want to endure period cramps anymore. She just wants to make money quickly and leave. Brad still hesitates. Seeing this, Lily says she'll go alone. She says considerately that if he doesn't want to go, she won't force him, but Eve worries that if Lily goes alone, it'll be a bit dangerous. Lily doesn't mind. She thinks if she follows the festival crowds, it should be fine. Brad struggles internally. Lily selling fried chicken alone will definitely be tough. So he raises his hand and says he'll go too. Lily and Eve are both shocked and delighted. They didn't expect Brad to change his mind. Brad begs Eve to disguise him so thoroughly that no one will recognize him. Eve immediately agrees, but unexpectedly, on the day of departure, Brad is actually dressed up by Eve as a woman. Brad's face is full of refusal as he questions if he really has to dress like this. Eve praises him with a smile, saying he looks absolutely beautiful in women's clothing with no sense of discord. At this moment, Lily comes over dressed in men's clothing. She freezes instantly when she sees Brad's outfit. He's wearing a red formal hat and a red dress that makes him look very beautiful. Brad asks awkwardly if his large build looks strange in women's clothing. Lily quickly waves her hands, saying it really suits him and isn't strange at all. Brad is half convinced and turns to praise Lily, saying her men's clothing is also super handsome. Lily wears a red hat, and her sharp men's outfit shows off her dashing spirit. Lily shows herself off and says with a smile, "Yes, they both suit us perfectly." The two smile at each other. The atmosphere is harmonious. The more they look, the more satisfied they are. Eve helplessly urges them to set off quickly. If they keep dawdling, it'll get dark. Before leaving, Lily asks if Eve really won't go to the festival with them. Such a grand festival will definitely be fun and lively. Eve explains that she doesn't just get carsick, she gets severely carsick and simply can't go. Lily and Brad think it's a shame to miss such a great opportunity. Eve tells them to go do business without worry and not to think about her. The two say goodbye in unison and then set off driving the carriage. After returning to her room, Mira says the Duke hopes she'll attend Founding Day, make an appearance, and expand her network. Eve doesn't even think about it and tells Mira to inform the Duke she's sick. Mira is shocked, thinking Eve is really unwell. Eve calmly explains she has alcoholism. She had already planned to drink and celebrate that day and give the servants time off. Mira quickly says she doesn't need time off. In the carriage on the way to the festival, Brad is really uncomfortable and cautiously calls out to Lily. He wonders why she keeps staring at him. Does he look strange? Lily says with a smile, "It's because you really look too beautiful in women's clothing." Brad is embarrassed and says he has an athletic build. Don't tease him. Lily stops teasing and says the journey is long. They should hurry. A few days later, they finally arrive. Lily is exhausted after getting off the carriage. Brad in the carriage looks even more tired. Lily quickly asks if he's okay. His complexion is poor. He says tremblingly that he's fine, just a bit tired. Lily thinks about it. After all, people kept expressing interest in Brad along the way. But as soon as Brad stood up, those people got scared and quickly backed away. She encourages Brad to pull himself together. If they want to do business, they need to work hard. Then she has Brad rest first while she goes to register. Brad looks at the Empire streets and finds them much more peaceful than he imagined. He prays it can stay this way. At this moment, the streets are crowded, and everyone is heading in the same direction. Seeing this scene, he can't help being curious, so he turns to ask a passerby where everyone is going. The passerby explains that today is the first day of Founding Day, and a prince will give a congratulatory speech. Brad reflects to himself that he escaped at night and hadn't gotten a good look at the castle. He thinks to himself that taking a peek from afar should be fine. Lily comes over at this moment and calls out that registration is done. Brad immediately gets up and invites Lily to go watch together. The two arrive in front of the castle and are so awed by the magnificent architecture their mouths hang open. Lily exclaims, "Castles on TV don't compare to this at all." Brad agrees and mutters that when he saw it at night, it wasn't this clear. At this moment, an announcement sounds, saying the second prince's congratulatory speech is about to begin. Then second Prince Adrian makes a grand entrance. He begins his speech and delivers the festival address. Cheers instantly erupt at the scene. Fans scream wildly. Lily covers her ears and says this is just like a concert. It's just that she's too far from the stage and can't see the second prince's face at all. Then she suddenly realizes something. She recalls that in the original story, there's an event at the festival where the male and female leads relationship heats up. She was so focused on making money to go home that she forgot such an important plot point. In the original story, the male lead saves the female lead from being harassed by enemy soldiers, and their relationship improves dramatically. She's confused. But why was it the second prince giving the speech? She remembers the second prince should appear in the second season. How did the plot get moved up? Lily tries hard to recall what the first prince looks like. After all, he never appeared on the novel's cover. She recalls the book's description. The male lead has black hair and red eyes, is brave, and can command the empire. Lily looks Brad over. She feels he doesn't match the description at all. She stops worrying about it and just prays they don't run into the first prince while doing business. The fried chicken stall is indeed as expected. Business is booming, with customers coming in endless streams. Lily is feeling happy when suddenly a drunk man comes over to hit on Brad. Brad kindly reminds him that the customer is drunk and can go rest, but the drunk refuses to admit it and demands to buy alcohol. After being refused again, he becomes even more insistent, demanding that Brad bring out alcohol. Brad suppresses his anger, thinking he really wants to give this drunk a suplex. Seeing this, Lily's heart tightens. This scene is exactly like what's described in the novel. In the plot, the drunk will get rough with the female lead. The male lead will step in to protect her, triggering a physical conflict with the drunk. During the conflict, the male lead's disguise wig will be torn off, exposing his identity. Because the drunk is a soldier from the enemy nation, he'll report to their emperor. This will ultimately lead to a year-long war. Thinking of war, Lily instantly panics. They absolutely cannot let war break out because of them. She makes a snap decision and picks up a drumstick, shoving it directly into the drunk's mouth. The drunk instinctively chews. His eyes gradually shift from confused to delighted. Lily asks with a smile how it tastes. The drunk has completely sobered up, saying this thing called fried chicken is absolutely delicious. He stops harassing them and quickly says he wants 2 portions of fried chicken to go. Just like that, Lily, doing good deeds anonymously, successfully prevents a war from breaking out. Brad comes over at this moment, worried if she's okay and afraid she's been wronged. Lily proudly brags that she peacefully resolved the trouble with fried chicken. Brad is super impressed, saying he could only think of solving it with a suplex at most. Lily says peaceful resolution is better. In business, harmony is most important. The two are just about to continue business when they discover the line is even longer. Brad is secretly relieved. Fortunately, Lily is here and didn't let the conflict escalate. If they'd attracted soldiers, it would be big trouble. Then he suddenly feels a bit regretful, but he can't quite say what he regrets. Lily calls out to him at this moment, interrupting his thoughts, asking him for extra bags for the fried chicken. Brad snaps back and quickly hands them over. Before long, Lily suddenly realizes the flour has run out. They need to replenish supplies quickly. Brad volunteers, saying he'll go to the carriage to get flour and be right back. He remembers where the carriage is parked and walks quickly toward it. Suddenly, someone reaches out from behind and calls him. He turns around to look, and it's actually the drunk from earlier. He immediately grabs the person. The drunk shouts in pain, saying his arm is about to break and begging for mercy. He releases his hand and asks what else the man wants. The drunk hiccups and says the fried chicken was so good he wanted to come chat again. Brad says goodbye helplessly, just wanting to leave quickly to get the flour, but the drunk directly reaches out to pull him, not letting him leave. In the tussle, Brad's wig is pulled off. Brad exclaims and clutches his head, very angry, but the drunk is completely oblivious, holding Brad's wig and talking to himself. Brad asks helplessly where the drunk lives, wanting to send him home. The drunk says home is far away but keeps repeating how delicious the fried chicken is. Brad urges him patiently to quickly give his address. On the other side, Lily is watching the stall alone. Brad has been gone too long. She feels uneasy and prepares to get up to find him. Arriving at the carriage, she hears arguing in the distance. Lily looks in the direction of the sound and discovers Brad is with the drunk, and his wig has actually fallen off. The drunk is holding fried chicken, wondering why Brad suddenly has short hair. He leans in for a closer look, points directly at Brad, and shouts that he looks exactly like the crown prince. Brad is instantly shocked. The thing he feared most has happened. In his panic, Brad directly knocks him out with a chop. He's terrified someone else heard what the drunk just said. However, when he turns around, he sees Lily. Lily asks in confusion what the drunk meant by first prince. Brad instantly panics and asks if Lily heard everything. Lily nods to confirm. Her eyes are full of confusion and disbelief. Brad quickly puts on his wig and denies it, saying Lily must have heard wrong. He shouts that he transmigrated, as a background character, not the first prince at all. But Lily doesn't believe him. The drunk said it specifically, so there must be a basis. Brad protests and asks back why Lily trusts the drunk so much. Lily explains that the drunk is the neighboring country's soldier who appears in the original story. She looks at Brad's confused expression and asks if he didn't read that part. Brad quickly tells Lily to get to the point. Now isn't the time to worry about that. Lily briefly explains that in the original story, the two meet at the festival and trigger a war. Brad suddenly realizes he escaped precisely because he was afraid of war. He complains that he read too many novels and mixed them up. He only remembered the war-related plot. Lily confirms that drunk is the key figure who triggers the subsequent trouble. She says with certainty, "So Brad, you are definitely the first prince." Brad sees he can no longer hide it. He directly announces that he is indeed the first prince of the Travis Empire. Lily is extremely delighted. She guessed purely by deduction and actually got it right. Afterwards, she wonders why, if he's a prince, he's selling fried chicken here. Brad says emotionally that he really doesn't want to go to the battlefield and constantly risk his life. Lily quickly calms him down and tells him to speak slowly. Brad admits that as soon as he learned he transmigrated as a prince, he immediately fled to the neighboring country. Lily suddenly remembers that what Brad said before about being scammed by an acquaintance was also fake. She's shocked. So the male and female leads from the original story are actually together now. She thinks about the drunk's behavior earlier and worries the plot will still develop according to the original story. Lily is afraid her true identity will also be discovered, so she suggests this isn't the time to make money. They need to leave quickly. Lily feels that as long as the male and female leads are both present, the plot will be uncontrollable. Brad also agrees and decides to leave the Empire immediately at dawn. Just then, someone suddenly calls out the name Marion. Lily turns around in confusion and sees a familiar figure walking toward her. The person is her roommate from before. before transmigrating. Chelsea, excitedly greeting her. Chelsea reminds her that she pretended not to see her secretly leaving the capital back then. Lily laughs awkwardly, remembering that in the original story, the female lead indeed has a roommate. Brad hears the name Marion and instantly freezes. He asks in disbelief, "Miss Lily, are you the female lead, Marion?" Lily smiles bitterly. "Even if I said it's just a coincidence of names, you definitely wouldn't believe me, right?" Brad confirms upon hearing this, "So you really are the female lead?" He thought Lily transmigrated as a background character. He didn't expect her to be the female lead. Lily admits she was also shocked when she learned she was the female lead. She complains that in the original story, the female lead becomes empress. She doesn't want that, so she ran away. Chelsea, standing nearby, is confused and asks what's wrong with being empress. Lily hurriedly covers up, saying, "Chelsea, you're still here?" Chelsea answers that they hadn't finished chatting earlier. "And what about the empress you mentioned?" Lily thinks on her feet and lies that they're discussing a novel they read. Chelsea is skeptical but doesn't press further since Lily can read. She asks curiously what Brad and Lily's relationship is. Are they friends? Lily quickly nods, saying they're friends who work at the same place. Chelsea warmly greets him, introducing herself as Chelsea, Lily's former colleague. Brad nervously coughs and responds in a female voice that his name is Brad. Chelsea says with a smile that Brad's name sounds a bit masculine. Brad laughs awkwardly and says many people have said that. Chelsea sighs with regret that Lily hasn't been to the Empire in so long but has to leave so soon. Lily makes an excuse, saying she forgot to put out the fire at home before leaving and needs to hurry back. Chelsea understands. The two say goodbye and promise to chat longer next time they meet. Brad suddenly stops Chelsea, saying he has something to ask her. He asks if Chelsea is working in the imperial capital now. After receiving a positive response, Lily carefully asks if Chelsea has seen what the first prince looks like. Chelsea thinks for a moment. Then she answers that she has seen him. Brad frantically covers his face, terrified of being recognized and exposed. But Chelsea continues with a smile, saying she's only seen a portrait, not the real person. She explains that common people have no chance to see royalty in person. Only then does Brad relax. After all, portraits are often beautified, so even if she saw him in person, she wouldn't recognize him. Brad asks further, "Do you know the first prince's name?" Chelsea readily answers, "The first prince is called Charles von Travis." Brad is overjoyed. He's finally found out his transmigrated character's name. Chelsea asks if there's anything else. Brad quickly says no. The group says goodbye again. Chelsea turns and leaves the scene. Lily asks Brad at this moment, "You actually didn't know your own name?" Brad awkwardly admits that in the original story, he's only called First Prince or Your Highness. Lily expresses understanding. She only remembered he was called Charles. She suggests packing their luggage now. Staying in the Empire is too dangerous, but Brad suddenly stops her, saying their conversation isn't finished. Lily is confused. She doesn't seem to have anything to add. Brad questions, "When you knew my identity, why did you play dumb and hide your own identity?" Lily explains that the timing and atmosphere weren't right to say anything. Only then does Brad realize the enemy soldier's appearance was also due to their protagonist halos. If that person called Chelsea hadn't found her, he'd still be in the dark. Lily quickly defends herself, saying she didn't want to keep deceiving him. Brad retorts, saying bluntly that if his identity hadn't been exposed, Lily wouldn't have said anything. Lily also gets angry and protests, accusing Brad of hiding things and deceiving her too. Brad is left speechless and can't refute this. Lily suggests that since they both have their reasons, they should just continue getting along. If they keep being so petty, that's really too small-minded. These words hurt Brad deeply. Lily extends an olive branch at this moment. They'll reconcile and find a mage together to go home. But Brad doesn't listen, still immersed in the sadness of Lily calling him petty. He snorts coldly and turns his face away, flatly refusing her proposal. Lily is completely stunned. Does he still not want to reconcile with her? Brad stubbornly says he's very petty and doesn't want to reconcile. Lily also loses her temper. Fine, don't reconcile then. Who cares? After saying this, she angrily turns and walks away. Lily packs her luggage in a huff, determined to leave this imperial capital. Then she picks up the heavy luggage and grits her teeth to carry it forward. Just then, Brad silently walks over and without a word reaches out to help carry the luggage. Lily is completely surprised, thinking he's no longer angry, but he says nothing. He just turns and continues, silently carrying luggage. Apparently, he's still not completely over it. Lily's heart instantly warms. She thinks to herself that Brad is stubborn on the outside but soft on the inside. He's so kind. The two, holding in their anger, quickly leave the imperial capital. They're silent the entire way. This is their first real argument. They originally wanted to calm down on the journey home and find the right opportunity to apologize, but pride caused them to remain at a standoff, and they both missed the chance to apologize. In their conflicted silence, the carriage soon arrives at the estate. Lily jumps off the carriage and sighs that the second time taking this road was much faster than expected. The estate is pitch black and unusually quiet, yet it's not that late. Then she silently starts unloading the luggage from the carriage. Brad follows along. Brad silently picks up luggage again. Lily softly says thank you, wanting to break the awkward silence. She hesitantly calls out Brad, but he completely ignores her. Without looking back, he turns and continues carrying luggage with his head down. Lily mutters to herself, why is he still angry? Is this going to continue forever? At this moment, Brad's rational self urges, now is the perfect time to apologize. But his emotional self retorts, why should I apologize first? Two inner voices argue intensely. leaving him deeply conflicted. Lily's voice comes at this moment, questioning how long Brad will keep up the Cold War. She complains, "Are you going to keep being so petty and hold on to this forever?" Brad was about to apologize, but hears Lily call him petty. He gets angry again and accuses her, "Miss Lily, you should apologize first. You clearly had a chance to tell me the truth but still hid your female lead identity. That's too much." Lily protests and asks back, "If it were you, would you have told the truth then?" Brad responds angrily, "I definitely would have said it without hesitation." The arguing reaches nearby. Eve wonders who's talking. Eve feels the voice isn't Mira's and curiously wants to go check. Lily is still arguing, saying they've already deviated from the original story, so telling him wouldn't have mattered. Brad retorts, "Everything has an order. You should have been honest then." Eve hides nearby, observing, wondering why they came back from the Empire early, and why are they arguing so fiercely. After listening for a while, Eve realizes things aren't so simple. She deduces from the conversation that they actually transmigrated as the original story's protagonists. The two here are arguing intensely and have started discussing going their separate ways. Eve quickly steps forward to intervene, shouting for them to calm down first. Brad and Lily both freeze. They didn't expect Eve to suddenly appear. Lily asks curiously what's with Eve's camping outfit. Eve explains awkwardly that she's always dreamed of camping, so she's taking advantage of no one being around to try it. She turns and asks why they came back so early and are even arguing. Brad answers it's a long story and he doesn't know where to start. He starts whispering with Lily, conflicted about whether to tell Eve the truth. Lily worries that although they're fellow transmigrators, Eve is from a neighboring country, which is a bit awkward. Eve watches them muttering and says directly that she already knows their protagonist transmigrators. Lily and Brad laugh awkwardly. They didn't expect to be overheard completely. Eve suggests it's inconvenient to talk standing. They should find a place to sit and chat. She brings the two to her campsite and invites them to sit anywhere. The two sit down with a subtle distance between them. The atmosphere is still awkward. Eve distributes candles to them. She personally lights them to create a warm atmosphere. She suddenly gets sentimental and asks who they think of when they close their eyes. Lily recognizes this as an emotional mediation technique she saw on YouTube. Brad can't help but complain that this kind of activity isn't popular anymore. Eve awkwardly blows out the candles. She originally wanted to make them cry and let their guard down. She abandons the technique and lies down directly, asking what exactly they're arguing about. Brad sighs and starts explaining the reason for the argument in detail. After listening, Eve suddenly realizes their reasons for running away are very similar to hers. She feels a bit sympathetic. These two kids giving up their protagonist identities are so pitiful. Eve secretly decides that to avoid trouble, she needs to hide her own identity more thoroughly. Brad urgently asks, "Master, now that you've heard, tell us who's more wrong." Lily quickly chimes in, anxiously awaiting the verdict. Hearing this, Eve slowly gets up, clears her throat, and prepares her judgment. She suddenly raises her hand and points at Lily, seriously saying she's actually at fault. Seeing this, Brad can't help but snicker. She really is the one more at fault. Unexpectedly, Eve then turns to Brad, pointing at him and saying he's also at fault. She scolds them for being ungrateful and hiding from her that they're both protagonists. Eve complains aggrievedly that even if they couldn't tell each other, they should have told her separately. Lily and Brad panic and instinctively apologize to Eve. Eve won't let it go, saying they should apologize to her first before holding each other accountable. As a fellow transmigrator, kept in the dark, she feels doubly betrayed. Lily and Brad look at each other. Their eye contact shows they don't understand why they're being scolded. Eve orders them to make up, having them face each other, hold hands, and apologize. The two obediently comply, clasping hands and apologizing to each other simultaneously. After apologizing, Eve directly announces they've officially made up. She secretly breathes a sigh of relief. She finally coaxed these two into making up. Then she suggests camping together. Lily and Brad readily agree. The argument dissipates. After eating, Lily returns to her room feeling full. She's secretly glad she made up with Brad. At this moment, there's a knock on the door. Brad says he has something he didn't finish saying and wants to talk to her. Lily tells him to come in, curious what else he has to add. After Brad enters the room, he sincerely apologizes to Lily with a serious expression. Although they made up confusedly earlier, he still feels he needs to apologize properly. He continues with his head down. "I was too immature. I'm sorry." Lily also quickly apologizes, saying she should have been honest about her female lead identity then. Brad admits he acted emotionally and shouldn't have been so petty. Lily comforts him, saying it's understandable. She confirms with a smile that they've really made up now, right? Brad nods vigorously. Yes, but Lily suddenly becomes serious and makes a pact with Brad not to fall in love with each other. Brad is stunned. He didn't expect her to suddenly say this. Lily explains that they went to the Empire once and triggered plot events. If the two of them develop feelings like in the original story, they'll be well on their way to becoming emperor and empress. Brad suddenly realizes Lily's words make perfect sense. The two reach an agreement. They must stay vigilant and prevent the story from following its original path. Meanwhile, Eve worries in her room, wanting to stay far away from these two protagonists. She can't help but reach for her alcohol. She really doesn't want to get dragged into the main character's plotline. It's best to help them save up money quickly and send them on their way. The next morning, Mira frantically wakes Eve, saying the Duke has called. Still half asleep, Eve wonders why father is calling at this hour. Mira explains it's urgent. Eve groggily takes the call, and the Duke's voice booms through the receiver. He cheerfully announces he has a surprise for Eve. A bad feeling creeps over Eve as she presses him for details. The Duke laughs. He's coming to Celeste, where his daughter is staying. Eve snaps, fully awake. She can't believe father knows her location. The Duke mentions paperwork will delay him, but insists Eve must wait for him. With that, he hangs up, leaving Eve alone in panic. Eve breaks into a cold sweat. Worried father is coming to drag her back home. Eve frantically calls for Mira. Things just got serious. She anxiously explains father is coming to Celeste. Eve emphasizes she never told him her location, and this is enemy territory. She demands to know if Mira has any idea what's going on. Mira guiltily claims she has no idea. Without time to think further, Eve turns and announces she's going out. Soon, Eve arrives at the fried chicken shop looking for Lily and Brad. She vaguely mentions checking on things and asks if they sell alcohol. Lily quickly says no. Eve came prepared. She pulls out the beer she brought along. With a grave expression, she thinks father's coming, and she might get dragged back to the Empire. Time is running out. She must send Lily and Brad away quickly so her villainous storyline can finally end. Eve asks if they returned early from the festival without saving enough money. Lily nods in admission. They'd planned to earn money at the festival, but that's looking difficult now. Eve displays the beer and announces there's only one way left to make serious money. Brad questions this. Some customers bring their own drinks, but that doesn't earn much. Eve smirks coldly. Ordinary beer obviously can't empty people's wallets. She recalls how before transmigrating, she loved drinking so much she developed cancer. Eve explains that after being hospitalized, she couldn't drink anymore but never gave up her brewing hobby. She proudly announces she actually opened a distillery in this world. Eve produces the bomb shot and tells them to add it to the menu. She's completely confident. Nothing empties customers' wallets better than bomb shots. Brad leans in for a sniff and exclaims in surprise, "This really is a bomb shot." Lily quickly reminds them she's still a minor and can't be involved in selling alcohol. Eve understands. Starting at 10 p.m., she plans to put on a performance show. She'll bring Mira along to help. Mira and Brad will handle selling the bomb shots, while Lily just needs to attend to her. Eve says she'll mix the bomb shots for the first few days, then teach Brad to take over. Brad immediately agrees. A brand new business venture begins. Days later, the nation's first and most spectacular dinner show officially launches. Brad eyes the drinks lined up on the table. He covers the opening and vigorously shakes the beer in his hand. Finally, he opens it. The beer explodes out, colliding with other drinks in a pleasing cascade of sound. The audience instantly erupts in cheers, shouting orders for bomb shots. The crowd buzzes with excitement as customers rave about how delicious bomb shots pair with fried chicken, combined with the novelty. Performance. This quickly becomes the hottest dinner show in town. Anna visits and wonders why she doesn't see the masked person today. Mira explains the masked beauty has passed her skills to Brad and won't be coming anymore. Anna feels it's a bit of a shame. That person's technique was excellent, but Brad's bomb shots are absolutely delicious too. Selling drinks in the food industry is inherently high profit. The money rolls in faster than imaginable. Their funds accumulate rapidly, leaving only 100,000 gold coins until their goal, though they're about to reach their target. Brad finds himself more concerned about Lily. Brad mutters to himself, Lily's behavior has been getting stranger lately. Whether they're selling fried chicken together or working together at the estate, she maintains a subtle distance from him. He carefully recalls he hasn't done anything to upset Lily. Brad tries to reassure himself. Maybe it's just his imagination. Maybe he's being too sensitive. Until one day, Lily comes asking if anyone's free to help move things. Brad and Hans both raise their hands, eager to help Lily. But Lily chooses Hans, asking him to come with her. Hans reluctantly gets up, complaining that Brad would clearly be better suited for moving things. Brad is equally confused, unable to understand why she didn't choose him. He has to admit, this isn't his imagination. Lily really is avoiding him. Brad is utterly confused. They already made up after their last argument. He puzzles over what could possibly be making Lily distance herself from him. Brad feels a pang in his chest. He didn't expect to care this much about it. Unable to find an answer, Brad decides to consult the incredibly knowledgeable Eve. Meanwhile, Eve is also troubled. The founding day has ended, so why hasn't father arrived yet? She suspects father isn't like her. He won't give up halfway and not show up. She thinks to herself, perfect. While father hasn't arrived yet, she needs to hurry and send Lily and Brad away. Soon, Brad arrives with his questions, saying he needs her advice. Eve is completely confused, but plays along, letting him explain. Brad claims this is a friend's problem, and begins telling a story about person A and person B. He explains A and B had similar circumstances and shared goals, so they quickly became good friends. Eve sees through it immediately. Clearly A is Brad and B is Lily. Brad continues. After they argued and reconciled, B started avoiding A. He earnestly asks Eve to help analyze why. Eve mutters to herself. She only knows how to romance alcohol. How would she understand this? She thinks Brad clearly cares deeply about Lily, but Lily doesn't seem to feel the same way. Eve recalls Lily constantly complaining about menstrual cramps. She's in no mood for romance. Eve hesitates. Encouraging a confession doesn't seem like it would be good for Brad. After thinking it over, she says avoiding the person involved will only complicate things. Eve says the one thing she can confirm is that it truly cares about B, but she feels this kind of caring is more like affection between family members. Brad immediately agrees. He mentions when he was dieting, everyone abandoned him to go eat burgers. He definitely cared about that. Eve explains A's disappointment stems from familial melancholy. It's just friendship with a family-like bond. As for why B is avoiding him, Eve suggests asking the person directly would be fastest. Deeply grateful, Brad stands and declares Eve the best answer. He immediately rushes off like lightning to find Lily. Brad first asks head chef about Lily's whereabouts. He hasn't seen her. He then finds Hans, who says he parted ways with Lily after they finished moving things. Brad then asks Michelle, who mentions seeing Lily in the courtyard. Brad hurries to the courtyard. He finally spots Lily sweeping and calls out to her excitedly. Lily turns to look at him. The sight of her glancing back is truly beautiful. Brad's heart involuntarily races. Seeing his silence, Lily asks in confusion what he needs. Brad snaps back to reality, remembering Eve's words. His feelings for Lily are family-like affection. He needs to stay calm. Brad takes a deep breath and directly asks if Lily has been avoiding him lately. Lily quickly denies it. She says she has no reason to avoid him. While claiming it's his imagination, Lily unconsciously steps backward. Watching her reaction, Brad steps forward and points out her actions have already revealed the truth. Realizing she can't hide it anymore, Lily laughs awkwardly. He actually saw through her. Brad asks plaintively, they've already made up, so why is she still avoiding him? He even wonders if he has some strange odor. Lily quickly denies it. It has nothing to do with any odor. She explains they're almost at their target amount. Lily worries that the closer they get to leaving, the easier it is for feelings to develop. She fears the original story's power will make them involuntarily fall in love. Lily says although they agreed not to fall for each other, the human heart is unpredictable. She explains she's deliberately maintaining distance as a precaution. Brad immediately presses, so you're not avoiding me because you dislike me? Lily responds instantly, of course it's not because I dislike you. Brad instantly relaxes, but his eyes redden and tears fall. Lily asks in surprise, are you crying? Brad stubbornly wipes his tears and denies it. He's not crying at all. Then he says plaintively, he thought Lily disliked him. Lily quickly reassures him, how could she possibly dislike him? She adds with a smile, on the contrary, I actually really like you. Brad instantly feels shy, not expecting her to say something like that. Lily quickly clarifies she means the deep friendship they've built along the way. Brad masks his disappointment and agrees, yes, the friendship is indeed deep. Lily encourages him. They're not far from going home, they need to keep pushing forward. Watching her determined expression, Brad thinks she's truly radiant. He thinks to himself, though he's not sure what these feelings are, he doesn't want to examine them too closely. It's too late to turn back now. Better to just treasure these feelings quietly. He silently resolves, if this really is love, he'll guard it alone. Before long, they count their money again, and when they reach 10 million gold coins, they both shout excitedly, they've saved enough! Lily reflects on all the hardships they endured for this money. They're finally about to succeed. Brad also feels emotional. Now there's only one step left, leaving. He suddenly remembers they haven't figured out how to find a mage. Lily is worried too. Sending souls across dimensions requires extremely high-level magic. She speculates they might need a first-class mage or a tower master with that capability. Brad adds they absolutely cannot approach mages affiliated with the Empire. Brad recalls the content he read didn't mention any magic towers. He suggests they first ask around the village for information about mages. Lily says before that they should tidy up the fried chicken shop first. Suddenly Karen's voice rings out, asking if they're closing the shop. She says pitifully, without them here, she won't be able to eat such delicious fried chicken anymore. Lily thinks Karen buys magic items, so maybe she knows mages. She quickly asks if Karen knows any mages who can cast high-level magic. Karen replies she's not a mage herself, so how would she know any mages? She explains she buys items wholesale and only knows retailers. She suddenly shifts gears. Actually, she does know one impressive person, but if she tells them, she won't have fried chicken anymore, so she doesn't want to share. Brad offers a deal. He'll provide high-grade mana stones infused with magic power. Karen is instantly tempted and finally relents, telling them to get paper so she can draw a map. Karen draws while recalling, revising multiple times before settling on the route. When the fried chicken shop closes, the entire village mourns tearfully. Even Eve comes personally to see them off. Eve is somewhat concerned about whether this crude map is reliable. Looking at the rough sketch, Lily says they can only choose to trust it now. Eve reflects, this should be the last time she says goodbye to them. Lily emotionally calls her Ji-eun and bids her farewell, with Brad waving as well. The two then officially set out on their journey to find a mage. Surprisingly, the map is remarkably accurate, and they quickly reach their destination. Brad knocks and asks if anyone's home, but everything remains silent. He tries again, apologizing for the late disturbance and explaining it's urgent. As soon as he finishes speaking, the tightly shut door opens by itself. Lily hesitantly asks if they should go in and check. Brad enters first, softly apologizing for potentially disturbing the owner's rest. But there's no sound inside at all. It's extremely dark. Lily suggests turning on the lights first. It's too dark to see anything. Brad fumbles for the switch and presses it. The lights instantly illuminate the space, and they're shocked by the luxurious interior, a stark contrast to its plain exterior. It's like a magical version of opulent luxury, except the owner doesn't seem to be here. As they look around, Lily suddenly notices something on the table. She picks it up and discovers it's a diary. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a mysterious person munches on fried chicken while observing. The two on monitors, they arrived even earlier than expected. Lily picks up the diary, hesitating whether to open it. Finally, she opens it. It reads, Day 35 after transmigrating into the novel. This world remains completely frozen. Day 50, the world is still black and white. I can't even die. Day 68, if this continues, I'm going to lose my mind. I really want to leave. Day 90, a miracle occurred. The world turned colorful. Nature began to breathe. I started talking to villagers, and they actually respond to me now. Brad suddenly calls out to Lily about a large portrait on the wall. Shocked after reading the diary, Lily says the owner seems to be a transmigrator too. She suggests looking at the portrait to remember the face. They might encounter her later. So they pull back the covering, revealing a portrait of a short purple-haired girl making a peace sign. Both of them confirm they've never seen this girl before. Lily continues reading the diary and suddenly spots crucial information. Her expression drastically changes. Lily shouts for Brad to come back with her immediately. She says she'll explain on the way. They must leave right now. Brad immediately agrees. The mysterious person watches the monitor as Lily heads back. She smiles. Looks like there's hope for my fried chicken after all. Along the way, Brad is utterly shocked. Karen is also a transmigrator. Lily nods in confirmation. Karen entered while keeping her own identity, and she's very likely the original author of the novel. Brad is even more stunned. He can't believe it. The author didn't transmigrate but literally entered her own novel? Come to think of it, when they mentioned terms like installment payment, Karen understood everything. Lily fumes. Karen has been playing dumb this whole time and probably laughing at them behind their backs. She complains. She could have explained in one sentence but made them waste a trip. It's too much. The two rush angrily to Karen's shop to confront her, but they see her kneeling before the landlord, begging him to give her a few more days. The landlord angrily declares if she can't pay rent tomorrow, she must vacate. With that, he storms off angrily. After the landlord leaves, she notices the two of them. She stands up awkwardly to greet them, asking if they met the mage. Lily burns with anger, holding up the diary and demanding why she's still playing dumb. Karen laughs dryly. She'd hoped to bluff her way through, then removes her hat and welcomes them. Lily refuses to let it go, saying she's definitely putting on this sob story to gain sympathy. Karen quickly denies it. The rent increase means she really has to close shop. She explains that after they closed, everyone jumped on the bandwagon and opened fried chicken shops. Landlord seized the opportunity to jack up prices. Her shop's rent doubled. Lily is shocked. Commercialization actually appeared in a romantic fantasy novel. Lily wonders, as the original author, can't she just solve money problems easily? Karen sighs. She doesn't have that kind of power at all. They raid her diary, right? She's just as helpless as them, and still plagued by financial troubles. Karen breaks down shouting. She's the original author but living just as miserably as in real life. She suddenly mutters to herself, complaining the publisher always picks on her. Poor sales aren't her fault. Lily and Brad are stunned. The original author has fallen into self-doubt. Lily quickly goes to comfort her, calling out her pen name Starlight Nova. Karen instantly snaps back to reality. Lily tries calling out again. Starlight Nova. Karen instantly freaks out. She says that name is too embarrassing. Seeing her come back to her senses, Lily finally relaxes. Karen recovers and apologizes to them. She occasionally gets like this, please don't mind. She then earnestly asks them not to call her by that pen name anymore. It's too mortifying. Karen's real name is Zhou Xinghui. The pen name was her elementary school nickname. She's always wanted to change it. They agree, then seriously ask Karen if there's still a way for them to return. Lily admits she and Brad transmigrated on the brink of death, so they're not too hopeful. But Karen readily answers there's a way. Hope instantly reignites in both of them. Brad excitedly presses, are their bodies still alive? Are they intact? Karen quickly reassures them. She can only see that their souls are connected to somewhere else. Lily jumps with joy. This means they're still alive. Brad excitedly joins in. They can finally go home. Just as the two happily high-five in celebration, Karen suddenly shifts gears. Sending them back has one condition. They freeze. Lily complains, "This isn't a variety show. Why are there conditions?" Karen says the condition is simple. They must continue the story according to the original plot. Lily flatly refuses. They fled here precisely because they didn't want to follow the original story. Karen says of course she knows, but she still insists on this condition. Lily explodes in frustration. This is like asking a dog to walk upright, complete nonsense. She argues that even if they leave, the characters in the original story will continue on their own. Brad agrees. Transmigration novel protagonists usually have their own souls, but Karen shakes her head and says coldly, "There is no such thing." When she first entered, she'd expected to see her created characters come alive. She never imagined they'd be like empty shell dolls, not moving even a millimeter. From this she understood, this is a fictional novel world, the characters have no souls. Karen speculates the world stopped because she, as the original author, died, and everything restarted. Most likely because Lily and Brad's souls transmigrated in. Brad is shocked. Did they make this world move again? Lily presses. If they die or return to reality, will the world stop again? Karen nods in confirmation. That's why they need to continue the story according to the original. She admits she just wants to see the story's ending, otherwise she won't send them back. Lily questions. Following the original means Brad has to go to war. What if he dies in battle? Karen freezes. She's never considered this problem. She says calmly, the male lead dying in a romantic fantasy novel would be absurd. Lily delivers the final blow. What they're experiencing doesn't feel like romantic fantasy at all, more like a survival documentary. Karen quickly defends. This novel is pure romantic fantasy genre. Lily counters, there are fantasy novels where everyone dies. They're just ordinary people. Of course they're afraid of dying. Karen hesitates for a moment. She says the war plotline can be skipped, but Brad must become emperor, because she wants to see her protagonist reach the empire's highest position. Lily presses, after ascending to the throne, the story ends, and they can return immediately? Karen vaguely says it should be like that. Lily feels her answer isn't straightforward at all, and has a bad feeling about this. She can't shake the feeling this author will screw them over, so she decides to pause the discussion. She pulls Brad aside for a private chat, asking if he thinks agreeing to this proposal is the right move. Brad says he also feels something's off in many places, but currently only Karen knows how to send them back. Lily agrees, and Karen also knows whether their original bodies are still alive. It seems they can only choose to trust the original author now. After discussing, they finally decide to accept Karen's conditions. Lily tells Karen they're willing to go to the Empire and advance the plot according to the original story. Karen instantly erupts in celebration. Lily adds, but neither of them finished reading the original, so they need her to explain the subsequent plot. But Karen drops a bombshell. She never decided on an ending at all. While picking her ear, she shamelessly explains she never plans endings in advance. She calls it allowing characters to develop freely. Lily and Brad are speechless. They never expected such an irresponsible author. Lily mentally complains. No wonder the novel has low readership. There's a reason for that. Karen snaps defensively, urging them to pack their luggage. She has a lot of preparations too. She tells them to head out first, and they'll contact each other later, then pushes them out. Lily and Brad get unceremoniously kicked out, both feeling this whole thing is getting stranger. They both agree. Since they're not leaving for now, they might as well say hello to Eve. Lily says helplessly. They agreed not to meet again, yet here they are reuniting. However, when they arrive at the estate, they find it locked. Just as they're wondering what happened here, a moving worker hears the commotion and asks what they need. Lily quickly approaches to ask about Eve's whereabouts. The worker replies that Miss Evelyn moved away long ago and is no longer here. They're confused. Why did the worker say Evelyn instead of Eve? The two slowly piece together their memories of this novel. They both realize Eve is actually Evelyn, the vicious second female lead from this novel. Turns out, right after their carriage left, the Duke's carriage arrived, just as Evelyn was still in her room debating which drink to have. Mira knocks to report that the Duke has arrived. The Duke asks plaintively if his daughter dislikes him, and that's why she's hiding here. He anxiously presses, did he do something wrong? Or is her allowance insufficient? Evelyn quickly denies it and smoothly adds that more allowance is always better. The Duke immediately agrees to increase her allowance. He sits down and changes the subject, asking why she settled here. Mira told him about it. Evelyn mentally complains, so Mira exposed her location. Mira, you're going to pay for this! The Duke continues asking, for her reasons, wanting her to come home with him. Hearing this, Evelyn thinks, Lily and the others have left. She can go home now too. Besides, the remaining second prince doesn't have much connection with her villainous role, so she explains with a smile. She just wanted to rest, and now that she's rested enough, she can go home. The Duke is delighted and immediately orders Mira to prepare luggage. They're leaving right away. Upon hearing this, Mira immediately produces the luggage she'd already packed for Evelyn and stands ready. The next moment, Evelyn boards the carriage back to the Empire. Before long, she returns to her ducal estate in the Empire. She has no complaints except she didn't get to drink enough. At this moment, the Duke continues asking with concern if she's listening. Evelyn responds absent-mindedly that she's listening carefully. The Duke looks at his daughter, saying she hasn't left the house since returning and he's worried. Evelyn thinks to herself, going out is too much trouble, drinking at home is more comfortable. The Duke suggests she go shopping for clothes and jewelry like before. Evelyn shakes her head in refusal. She begs father to let her drink more. One glass glass a day is far too little. She argues passionately. Drinking only one glass from an opened bottle is the collapse of drinking culture. Evelyn continues acting spoiled, demanding the drinking quota be increased to 1 bottle per day. The Duke worries privately. His daughter didn't touch alcohol before her trip. Has she developed alcoholism now? He can't figure out what his daughter experienced to become like this, so he decides to take Evelyn to the sanctuary and tells her to prepare to go out. Evelyn wonders, why so suddenly is father feeling unwell? The Duke explains he just wants to offer a prayer while he's there. The Duke puts on a pitiful act. Since his wife passed, his daughter is his only family left. If he went alone, it would be far too lonely. Evelyn reluctantly relents and agrees to go to the sanctuary with father. Soon they arrive at the Travis Empire's supreme sanctuary. The Duke tells Evelyn to go in first. He needs to speak with the priest. As Evelyn looks around, she reflects, this is her first time at the sanctuary since transmigrating. It's like viewing ruins. She recalls that during hospitalization, she always used Google Maps to view various ruins. She never expected to see them with her own eyes. Evelyn secretly feels grateful. This transmigration was totally worth it. Just then she hears a male voice speaking in a desperate tone saying he's going crazy. Evelyn looks toward the sound and is instantly stunned by the handsome man before her. His golden hair is dazzling, his green eyes clear, his features refined. His looks are exceptional. He's completely her type. Then she hears the man complain that he'd rather die than become emperor. Evelyn freezes instantly. These familiar lines sound so familiar. Evelyn realizes in shock. Could the one who doesn't want to be emperor be the second prince? But isn't the second prince supposed to compete with the first prince for the throne? How could he hate being emperor? Just then she hears a knight address him as Your Highness, saying everything is ready. He acknowledges. Evelyn confirms. That handsome man really is second Prince Edric. The Duke finds her then, asking what she's doing. Evelyn quickly asks who that golden-haired, green-eyed man was. She describes the man's tear mole, saying he's exactly her type. The Duke reflects. Though his daughter has changed a lot, her taste in men remains the same. After hearing her description, he replies, she'll be able to meet that man soon. The Duke also dismisses the idea of taking her to see the priest. Clearly his daughter hasn't been possessed. Evelyn wonders why she's encountering the second prince. She privately smiles. The original story has no connection between them anyway, so she gets to admire a handsome man up close. Meanwhile, Edric is about to meet His Holiness at the sanctuary. Unfortunately, the timing is off. The priest apologizes that His Holiness has gone out and won't return in the near future. If there's something urgent, he can relay the message. Edric stands and refuses. Personal matters must be discussed directly. He leaves disappointed and thinks as he returns to his carriage. He'd wanted to consult His Holiness about how to renounce his succession rights. Edric recalls that since childhood, he'd been indoctrinated with the idea of becoming emperor. As a child, he asked his mother if he'd really become emperor when he grew up. The answer he received was, as long as the first prince disappears, you can ascend the throne. These words brought great shock to his young heart. His mother Victoria continuously pressured him, demanding he must surpass the first prince. Even if he got 2 questions wrong across 4 exam subjects, he'd be severely scolded by mother. He buried himself in his studies under endless oppression, never daring to slack off even slightly. Until one day his subordinate urgently reported that first Prince Caspar had vanished into thin air. Edric informed his mother of this, but she called it good news. Mother admitted she'd sent assassins after him before, though they failed. But unexpectedly, he'd now disappeared on his own, equivalent to abandoning the throne. Mother embraced him for the first time, instructing him to perform well to secure the throne. But Edric felt deeply upset, feeling betrayed. He was angry that Mother's love was only for the future emperor, and angry that the first prince abandoned his position. Edric pretended to be happy on the surface, but inside he decided to become bad. He didn't want this throne. He couldn't let Mother know his thoughts, so he could only secretly seek His Holiness for a solution. Edric leaves helplessly, planning to go home and search through books for answers. He even hopes the first prince will return to compete for the throne again. Meanwhile, in the neighboring country, Brad is still shocked. Eve is actually the villainous Evelyn. He complains. Eve clearly knew all along but kept playing dumb and deceiving them. Lily also suddenly realizes all the original story's protagonists have now assembled. They worry about triggering the plot and urgently need to find Eve to get answers. To ensure the original story reaches its conclusion, Lily plans to first have Brad become emperor, then he'll cause some trouble and yield the throne to the second prince. Finally, she'll invoke the principle that spouses share consequences and announce she'll abdicate together with him. The two figure out that Karen didn't mention what happens after abdication. That's a loophole in their agreement, so they decide to execute the plan first and complete the mission as quickly as possible to go home. Lily reflects. They've been working so hard to get home, and just when success seemed near, they have to keep pushing forward. She suggests that before setting out, they should catch their breath and enjoy the fantasy world a bit. Brad immediately agrees, and Lily cheers. She's heard there's a delicious bakery in the neighboring village and suggests they check it out first. Brad readily agrees again. The two board a carriage, full of anticipation as they head to the neighboring village. The moment she tastes the bread, Lily can't help but praise how amazing it is. She tells Brad to eat more. After finishing, they'll take a walk on the trail outside the village. Just then, Lily spots a small creature in some bushes. Mistaking it for a rabbit, she stands and walks toward it. She approaches the small creature and offers it some bread, hoping to feed it. But the creature makes a gurgling sound, nothing like a rabbit. Brad comes over alertly, saying this thing looks like a magic beast. Something's off. Lily doesn't believe it. It looks so cute. It can't possibly be a magic beast. Brad insists he has a bad feeling and urges her to retreat quickly. He reminds Lily that magic beasts are dangerous. She's experienced this before. Just then, Lily accidentally makes eye contact with the creature. She immediately turns around, deciding to find soldiers for help while Brad waits. Brad then steps on a branch, and the sound startles the creature, causing it to suddenly shriek wildly. It's about to charge at Lily. Brad immediately steps in front of Lily, shielding her. The small creature transforms into a massive beast before their eyes. It really is a magic beast. Brad quickly tells Lily to retreat to safety first, while he deals with this magic beast. She's about to remind Brad not to expose his magic abilities, but Brad has already charged forward, his only thought being to protect Lily. Lily suddenly feels a wave of fear and can't help but cry out for her mother. A passing villager comforts her, saying if she's scared, she should leave. The soldiers are coming soon. Lily is confused. She's clearly not afraid, yet tears keep falling. She suddenly realizes this is Marian's ability. She can sync with magic beasts' emotions. Because of this, Marian was ostracized by villagers since childhood and rarely used her ability in the first volume. Lily resolves that now that she's remembered, she should make good use of this ability. The villager asks with concern, "She's crying so hard. Is she really not leaving?" Lily stubbornly insists she's fine, though she has no idea how to use the ability. She decides to forget it and solve the immediate problem with a physical approach. So Lily directly tells Brad this is just a baby magic beast separated from its family. Brad is surprised. How does she know the beast is lost? The next second, Lily starts crying along with the little beast, and Brad stares in shock. He quickly asks if Lily is okay, worried something's wrong with her. While crying, Lily urges him to quickly find a magic beast similar to this little one. Skeptical but compliant, Brad searches as she asks. He parts some bushes and touches something soft and warm. Looking up, he sees a massive green furry magic beast. This is Maruka, a pacifist magic beast that can freely change its form with soft fur. Brad quickly shouts that he's brought its child. He looks at the enormous creature, wondering how to get the mother beast to shrink. Lily panics too, wanting to activate the sync ability but not knowing how. Brad watches the deeply troubled Lily and the crying little beast, then resolves to take action. He hefts the heavy little beast, and with all his strength, lifts it up. Brad aims the little beast toward the large one and throws it, shouting, "Baby delivery!" The little beast lands precisely on the large beast. The large beast freezes for a moment. Seeing its child, the large beast instantly becomes happy. Lily's tears suddenly stop. The sync state seems to have been released. Lily shouts to Brad, "Mother and child are reunited. Come back quickly." She privately reflects that this sync ability is actually quite useful when used properly. Just then, a voice suddenly comes from behind, startling Lily. Turning around, she sees it's Karin. Karin wants to mention that Marian has the ability to sync with magic beasts, but Lily interrupts, saying she already knows, and she just tried it out. Karin laughs awkwardly, saying she should have come earlier if she'd known. Lily presses, "Have you finished writing the ending?" Karin explains her shop was forcibly closed, so she intended to go home and write the ending. But the animal sounds in the forest are too loud. She can't concentrate on writing. Lily instantly understands. In other words, she still hasn't written the ending. Karin laughs dryly, says she'll go write it right now, and runs off. Brad returns just then, asking in confusion if that person was Karin. Then he remembers and asks Lily what that ability was about. After Lily answers, he also recalls Marian's ability seemed to bring her closer to the first prince. Lily nods, but she's not very skilled at using it yet. She asks curiously, "Brad, how do you use your ability?" Remembering his embarrassing origin, Brad stammers and fumbles for words without explanation. Just then, soldiers arrive after hearing the commotion, asking with concern if they're all right. Learning the situation is resolved, the soldiers thank them and ask their names. Brad is about to give his name when Lily quickly interjects, saying he's called Edric. Brad freezes, not understanding why they're using the second prince's name. Lily secretly shoots him a look, telling him not to reveal his true identity. Brad goes along with it, saying he's called Edric. The villagers are surprised. He shares the second prince's name. Lily thinks on her feet, saying the name came from a naming house, barely managing to cover it up. The soldiers thank them and bid farewell, reminding them to be careful on their way back. After the soldiers leave, Brad wonders why they suddenly use the second prince's name. Lily explains it's to support their previous abdication plan. For their plan to proceed flawlessly, they need to create a charitable background for the second prince that makes him have to become emperor. Brad suddenly realizes they're building up reputation in his name. This way, When Brad announces his abdication, it'll be more natural. The two hit it off immediately, deciding to do good deeds under this name along the way, from picking up trash to fighting bandits, to donating money. They'll involve themselves in everything, and afterward, they'll repeatedly emphasize that Brad is Edric. Meanwhile, far away in the Empire, Edric's ears suddenly itch. He wonders who's talking about him. He asks his guard Aiden if there's any news from the sanctuary or about the first prince. Aiden reports there's no relevant news at all currently. Edric sighs. He searched throughout the Empire but can't find any trace of his brother. He suspects his brother might have gone to a neighboring country, but it doesn't seem like something he'd do. Just then, a subordinate reports that His Majesty the Emperor has sent someone to summon him. Meanwhile, at the ducal estate, Evelyn is also worried. Her drinking quota is too strictly limited. It's nowhere near enough for her. The Duke enters to hurry her along, saying there's a summons from the palace and they must leave quickly. Evelyn reluctantly agrees. She silently complains that the class system is too much trouble. In the carriage, she asks curiously what the Emperor wants with them, but the Duke smiles mysteriously, telling her she'll find out when they arrive. This leaves Evelyn even more confused. After arriving at the palace, Emperor Helenus warmly greets Evelyn. Evelyn responds respectfully and bows to the Emperor. The Emperor praises her, saying she's as exceptional as the Duke has boasted. Evelyn mutters to herself, wondering what exactly Father has been bragging about. The Emperor asks if she knows why she's been summoned today. Evelyn plays dumb, saying Father mentioned it a few times. The Emperor states plainly, that's good, he and the Duke are discussing her marriage to the first prince. Evelyn is too shocked to speak, unable to believe this sudden arrangement. The Duke even has the look of someone giving her a surprise, waiting for praise. Evelyn thinks this is absurd. Plus, the first prince is Brad. Hasn't he already gone home? So she works up the courage to ask why the first prince isn't here to discuss the marriage. The Emperor explains the first prince is on a secret mission and can't attend. Evelyn agrees outwardly while silently complaining. The Emperor lies so shamelessly. The Emperor says to avoid disappointing her, he's called someone else to say hello. He then has his attendants summon him in. The next moment, Edric walks in, and Evelyn is instantly dazzled by his looks. She's screaming inside. Compared to the first prince, she'd much rather marry him. Edric politely greets the Emperor. The Emperor then tells him to greet the first prince's fiancé. Evelyn restrains her excitement and respectfully introduces herself. Edric congratulates her, saying it's wonderful that the royal family can form ties with House Eugenia. Evelyn thanks him outwardly, but feels the plot is completely wrong. Edric looks at his brother's fiancée before him, feeling mixed emotions. Meanwhile, after launching the Edric name campaign, Lily and Brad gradually approach the Empire. Edric's reputation rises steadily as Brad helps move rocks. Villagers thank him gratefully. Fallen rocks block the road and they didn't know what to do. Brad politely declines any reward, only asking them to remember his name is Edric. The villagers are surprised. This is the kind person from recent rumors. They praise that Edric truly lives up to his reputation. How lucky to meet him here. A villager quietly asks, rumor has it he's the Empire's second prince. Is he doing all these good deeds to lay groundwork for inheriting the throne? Brad hastily denies it but doesn't know how to explain properly. The villager quickly catches on. He's on a secret mission, right? Brad neither confirms nor denies. The villager instantly understands and leaves with thanks. Brad breathes a sigh of relief. He looks up and calls for Lily to come over. Lily pokes her head out from the mountain, saying she was just debating whether to let that rock roll down. That's right, these two have formed the fake charity duo, sometimes actually creating problems just to solve them. Back at the village, Lily happily says with proper embellishment, the second prince's status will steadily rise. By coincidence, nearby villagers are also discussing how the second prince is doing good deeds everywhere to become emperor. Someone agrees, saying he not only picks up trash but also caught bandits. Brad is delighted to hear this. But the next second, someone questions. Compared to the first prince, the second prince is still lacking. Villagers say the first prince governed affairs and could defeat giant magic beasts. And crucially, he has fire ability. Hearing this conversation, the two realize they still have a long way to go. Lily suggests they need to do something more impactful to boost recognition. Meanwhile, at the palace, a knight delivers yet another reward from the Emperor to Edric. Edric sighs helplessly. What's the reason for this reward? Aiden answers it's to commend his efforts for border security. Edric complains. Before this, there were rewards for environmental protection and maintaining public order. He's puzzled. He hasn't done any of these things. Who's behind this? Aiden reports the rumors have spread everywhere, making investigation difficult. Edric worries that at this rate, Father will focus heavily on him. If Mother seizes the opportunity to whisper in Father's ear, it'll be hard to renounce his succession rights. Edric decides he must find his brother immediately. And right now, the person most likely to know about him is Evelyn. At the ducal estate, Mira informs Evelyn there's a visitor for her. Evelyn asks curiously who it is. Mira says it's His Highness, the second prince. She instantly springs up excitedly. What's he here for? Did he fall in love with her after meeting that day? Evelyn quickly calms down. His expression at the time didn't suggest that, but the next second, she excitedly instructs Mira to show Edric to the reception room. She'll be right there. In the reception room, Evelyn politely greets him, saying father isn't at the estate. Edric clarifies he's not looking for the Duke, he's here to see her. Evelyn's heart skips. Is he really here for her? But the next second, Edric asks, do you know where my brother Casper is? Evelyn is instantly disappointed, her smile freezing on her face. So he's only here to inquire about the first prince's whereabouts. She mutters to herself. For the sake of his good looks, she'll let it slide for now. Evelyn hesitates. If she directly says she doesn't know and sends him away, it would be such a waste. She can't exactly brazenly seduce a prince, so she's momentarily at a loss. Just then, Evelyn has an idea and asks if Edric has eaten. Edric says not yet. So Evelyn invites him to eat and talk. At the dining table, Edric is about to ask about the first prince when Evelyn interrupts. She produces red wine, saying this is a treasured vintage and asking him to try it. Edric obliges and drinks a glass. After finishing, he can't help but praise how delicious this wine is. So Evelyn pours him another glass, saying there's plenty more. Before long, Edric is thoroughly drunk. Evelyn has also drunk too much. Both are tipsy. Edric says drunkenly, this wine is so good! Evelyn laughs in agreement. Wine should be drunk in big gulps like this for maximum enjoyment. Then she asks what Edric needs with the first prince. Edric says he has personal matters with him, but no one knows his brother's whereabouts. Evelyn recalls what the emperor said. She answers that the first prince is on a secret mission. Edric thinks that as his fiancé, she might know. Evelyn quickly denies it. She doesn't know either. She says she just learned about the engagement herself. Emboldened by the alcohol, she complains. She doesn't want to be engaged or become empress at all. It's too much trouble. Seeing Edric fall silent, she realizes she said too much while drunk. Maybe that was too harsh, and quickly tries to backtrack. But unexpectedly, Edric suddenly agrees. She's right, because he doesn't want to become emperor either. Evelyn is utterly shocked. She never expected the second prince to think the same way. Edric confides that he hopes his brother will return quickly to become emperor. He also wants to be free, to drink whenever he wants. Hearing this, Evelyn is overjoyed. They're kindred spirits who both love freedom and pleasure. Edric is also excited. He never expected to find someone like-minded. The two hit it off immediately, both feeling that life should be thoroughly enjoyed. Edric presses, can Evelyn think of where his brother might have gone? But Evelyn still denies it, saying she truly has no idea. Edric has no choice but to give up. He mutters, he must find his brother quickly to stop the strange rumors. Evelyn asks curiously what rumors. Edric explains that lately, someone keeps using his name to do good deeds. The rumors have spread wider and wider, even reaching the imperial capital. He sent people to investigate. They only know it's a black-haired muscular man and a light brown-haired woman. Evelyn immediately thinks, could it be Lily and Brad causing trouble? Evelyn suggests, since others can boost his status, they can do the same. After hearing this, Edric has a sudden epiphany. So the result is, on the other side, Brad intends to deal with bandits. But when he arrives, he finds the situation already resolved. Villagers say a young man saved them, and Lily intended to find a lost cow. But when she arrives, she's told the cow has already been found. Villagers say the helper didn't take any reward, and his name seemed to be Casper. Lily is startled. Casper is the first prince's name. She feels something's off. Lately, someone keeps beating them to doing good deeds. The two continue forward and find villagers gathered together. After inquiring, they learn someone is distributing free food, and the organizer is called Casper. Villagers speculate this Casper might be from the imperial capital. His name is identical to the first prince's. After repeatedly getting beat to the punch, both feel something's wrong. But who's doing good deeds under the first prince's name? They can't figure it out. So Lily suggests they must do something more impactful. Brad replies helplessly, they haven't found any suitable big cases on the road. He reminds her they agreed from the start not to do anything dangerous. Lily replies helplessly, but at this rate, the plan will fall apart. She looks at Brad and says she's thought of a method. Brad asks curiously what method. After learning the method, Brad firmly objects, shouting absolutely not. Lily argues that maybe it's not as scary as he imagines. She suggests using her ability to lure magic beasts, then pretending he defeated them. Brad counters, what if the emotional sync suddenly breaks midway? Lily can't argue because she still can't fully control this ability. She wonders, isn't there a way to master the ability? Brad says he only knows how to control fireball techniques. Lily explains she's been triggering the ability by thinking of angering things, but it's still unstable. Thinking this over, she has to abandon the plan and decide to wait until the ability stabilizes. Just then, someone suddenly crashes into them hard, crying out in pain. Losing balance, the person falls to the ground, landing on their bottom. Taking a closer look, it's a child. Brad quickly reaches out to help him up, asking with concern if he's hurt. The child says he's fine. Then he hastily turns and runs away. Seeing this, Lily worries the child might have hidden injuries. After all, Brad is so muscular. Brad feels wronged. He's the one who got hit. Lily quickly reassures him with a laugh. She was just joking. Just as the two are about to go eat, Brad suddenly realizes his bag is missing and panics. He suspects it was very likely stolen by that kid just now, so the two immediately turn back to find that child. While running, Lily wonders, she's keeping the wallet, so what did he lose? Brad anxiously says he lost his handmade protein supplement. Lily is instantly speechless. Brad quickly explains it took a long time to make, and he hasn't met his daily intake yet. Lily says exasperatedly, just give it to the kid. Let him build some muscle. Just then, they suddenly spot the kid. Brad immediately chases after him, but halfway through the chase, the kid vanishes into thin air. 2 weeks later at the ducal estate, Evelyn asks Edric about the actual results of doing good deeds. Edric says the effect is still weak but definitely has some impact. Evelyn thinks if they persist a bit longer, the news will reach the Emperor's ears. She privately calculates, marrying Brad and becoming Empress is truly unimaginable. Relatively speaking, she'd rather have Edric become Emperor. After all, he's handsome. Edric calls back the distracted Evelyn to continue discussing mission-related matters. He says he learned from Aiden that disappearances in villages have been frequent lately. Most missing persons are adults and children from poor districts, with no clues. Edric suggests they investigate this tricky case together. Evelyn hesitates. If soldiers can't solve it, they might not be able to either. Edric says he already has a lead and will conduct a detailed investigation first. Evelyn agrees, telling him to contact her when there's news. A few days later, Brad is still talking about the kid who stole the protein supplement. Lily complains he's too obsessed. Brad argues it's because no one has seen that kid since that day. Lily is very surprised. Could he have been kidnapped? Just then, a little girl suddenly runs over for help. She cries and begs them to save her mother. Lily crouches down to comfort the little girl, asking if she got separated from her mother. The little girl sobs. It's not that they got separated, mother disappeared. Brad asks in confusion, did your mother go somewhere? The little girl clutches her skirt tightly, saying mother can make flowers bloom. And after she leaked the secret, mother disappeared. The two are completely confused, unable to understand what the little girl is saying. Lily patiently guides her to explain what happened from the beginning. The little girl explains her mother is a commoner with blossom ability who has been hiding her identity. Mother uses her ability to make flowers bloom and sells them daily to make a living. One day, the little girl accidentally saw mother using her ability in the early morning, and mother told her to keep it secret. But she was too excited and told her friends in the village. Today, while mother was waiting for her to come home, she suddenly vanished into thin air. The little girl says a pair of hands appeared from thin air and dragged mother away. She frantically searched for adults to help and happened to encounter the two of them. The little girl continues. A hole appeared in the air and mother was dragged through. She cries, saying mother won't come back, just like in the legends. Lily sharply asks what legends. Does she know who did it? The little girl sobs. It was the shadow hands that took mother away. The two are utterly shocked. Meanwhile, Evelyn is equally shocked after hearing Edric's explanation. Edric explains, black hands appear from nowhere and take people away. Evelyn says angrily, this is clearly kidnapping, completely lawless. Edric speculates they're probably kidnapping commoners and ability users to sell as slaves to nobles. Evelyn curses angrily. These nobles are insane. They don't treat commoners as human at all. Edric adds they despise ability users outside the nobility and treat them as toys. Evelyn wonders how Edric knows so much inside information. Edric admits, to renounce the throne, he's been collecting evidence of noble corruption. Evelyn immediately says this is a great opportunity to solidify the first prince's position. Edric immediately understands. This is definitely worth doing. Meanwhile, Lily confirms the Shadow Hands legend is actually real. Brad speculates this matter seems closely related to ability holders. Lily asks the little girl's name and learns she's called Tara. Tara says about 10 people have disappeared from the village and none have returned. The two are shocked. The scale of this is larger than they imagined. Lily and Brad exchange glances, instantly understanding each other's thoughts. Brad thinks, if they're simple kidnappers, maybe they can be dealt with like bandits. Lily suggests, to lure out the culprits, someone must be bait. She volunteers to be the bait. Brad immediately waves his hands in opposition. She still can't skillfully control her ability. He's deeply worried. If she encounters powerful magic beasts or danger, Lily won't be able to escape. Lily is instantly speechless, unable to think of a rebuttal. Brad is about to volunteer when Lily hurriedly interrupts, saying, his fire ability is extremely rare in the Empire. He'll easily be recognized as the first prince. Hearing this, Brad complains. Starlight Nova's setting is too much of a trap. The two are in a dilemma, unsure who should be the bait. Tara watches them hesitate. She clutches Brad's clothes, crying and asking if mother can't be saved. Brad quickly comforts her gently, telling her not to worry. He's thinking of a way. Afterward, the two exchange glances. There's only one viable method now. Lily carefully instructs Tara to spread specific information. Tara readily agrees. After receiving instructions, Tara immediately sets off to spread the word. The two quietly wait for Tara to spread the information and lure the culprits to capture them. They also begin making full preparations to be captured. A few days later, Brad reluctantly cross-dresses again. He changes into a red gauze dress with tasseled accessories, face veiled with eyes showing, stunningly beautiful. Lily looks at Brad's female attire, too amazed to speak. She teases, Brad could probably make a living going this route. Then she nods with certainty. This outfit will definitely fool the kidnappers. Several days have passed since Tara spread the word. It should have reached the kidnappers' ears. So the two decide to go to the site where Tara's mother was kidnapped and wait. Lily is just about to turn and speak when a pair of black hands suddenly grab Brad from behind. The situation happens so suddenly, she cries out Brad's name. Before being taken, Brad gives a thumbs-up gesture to reassure her. The first step of the plan is successfully completed. Now everything depends on Brad. Before long, Brad is imprisoned, with guards discussing this new merchandise. They've heard he's a rare, fire ability user, and all think he's very valuable. The guards look him over with puzzled expressions, trying to determine his gender. His delicate appearance gives no clues. Someone answers, they heard he's mute from birth. His gender is secret, and no one dares lift the veil. There are also rumors that lifting the veil brings curses, perhaps because he was burned by flames. The guards feel all this is irrelevant, as long as they can sell him to nobles for profit. They mention the Blossom ability user captured a few days ago. Tonight's auction will surely bring in big money. Brad secretly delights. Tara's mother is indeed imprisoned here. After they leave, Brad quietly calls to the little beast hidden in his skirt to let Lily come out. This is Morcus, the little beast that can sense link with Lily, her capable assistant. He tells the little beast to quietly steal the keys from the guards. The little beast immediately nods cleverly in agreement, eyes sparkling. Then it quietly begins to act. Lily has been training hard during the time the information was being spread. Now she can skillfully control the magic beast ability. Through beast perception, she quickly finds the two guards. She discovers the keys are tied to one guard's waist. Now she just needs to figure out how to quietly take them. Meanwhile, at the auction site, Edric has carefully disguised himself and arrived at the underground auction. He recalls Evelyn's investigation results. The organizer will be present tonight. Evelyn said capturing the organizer could solidify the first prince's position. Edric feels this is an excellent method, both safe and effective. So he came to this auction venue, but can't find the right opportunity to act yet. Edric decides to observe the auction secretly first, then wait for the right moment to act. Meanwhile, the little beast successfully steals the keys. It quickly runs to Brad's side, and Brad generously praises Lily for being amazing. The two quickly open the cell door and act immediately, wanting to find Tara's mother first. Brad lowers his voice and calls out softly, saying he's a helper sent by Tara. Someone in the adjacent cell sees them running out, and immediately demands urgently that Brad release him too. Brad says he must ensure Tara's mother's safety first, then come back to release him. But the prisoner instantly flies into a rage, and even shouts loudly for guards. A slave is escaping! Brad and Lily panic immediately, not expecting this unexpected situation. The guards hear the shout and rush over immediately. They immediately see Brad, who escaped from the cell, surprised the keys are supposedly still on him. After realizing his keys are actually gone, he's shocked. Could Brad be a hidden spatial ability user? Seeing this, the guard immediately prepares to pounce and capture him. Brad thinks using abilities on ordinary people isn't good. Now he can only break through by force. Just as the guard braces himself, preparing to fight, Brad also raises his hand, preparing to strike. The next second, he just runs past him at full speed. That's right, the best method now is to flee. Seeing this, the guard immediately reaches out and grabs him. He firmly grabs Brad's head. Brad dies inside, wailing internally, "Why does my wig always get grabbed?" The guard unexpectedly yanks off Brad's wig with force, revealing the fluffy, soft golden blonde short hair underneath. Seeing this, the guard is shocked. "What? You're actually a man?"